just akwa create say baby akabetuma adane asantemanyani saa na mi hunu na yetimi ye yama danida fo ba mu no mo ka say no project we so enti for the first time no artisanal engineering cluster development no omo pese omo shase ye wo so me magazine na afie de eba be part of omo support for the developing world enti no omo ba mu me kai say omo consultants ba ma omo approve project no omo approve we na kaseke benya government commitment na yasanya asase ye wase yensaka ba hono mo no na commitment no na emayi
anyway so
bia yakwa kodu no government need the commitment ba na info no so boaye with asase na bibia ya yi a
Akoma nim. I see. Yeah, enough no. But at what point interest in politics?
In fact, Mark say politics, you know, the main share interest be as me enter into politics because I am a professional worker, you know. Jumana me yana so sododo. Inti ma menya abotren concentrate wo ho. Na baby a Mark say me ba politics mu kakra ye me government appointee came me Professor Mills Emre no and also cross man sheda nche wo bi asa me first stint in politics no na we nle de ai Georgechum Barimadu once na me ne da se bro tibo aten ye dwuma bi in fact ne ye developing model a new development order for the developing world me ne da se bro tibo aten na ye yesa ya de ko UN e ma wo ye presentation wo ho na yegusu nkakra na naso so di free mu tena free mu na afa se normal bi aya yi kakra na ne nyina no so na George Chumberma adu ono wa international development consultant te dwuma ye ne nyina so na o follow keenly nti akwa fale se obe contest as a presidential candidate for this year's elections no eno so wo hwe bebi a Ghana yadu na obehia obi te se me edwuma ma ye no na memra me partner no as ne running mate presidential candidate o frame nam so ne asem papa sebi adesua yekosua ye ne nimdia kakra na ye wona ya nya se ye de be hyedem nti mabua na ma partner no na yesi ahwede yeso yetumdi ababeka the development discourse e go so Ghana ha no nti no mate say me major in politics ne my partner, the first stint in politics, no other men fire no chassis, and they said, "Me by vice presidential candidate." To me, say, "One here, a best baby, when they be now president of the Republic of Ghana."
Wow, that is good. I mean, me tie wo nema wo di gu hano paya. I am convinced. I mean, said the okano when you kusua di wi a, I was say ye di ye juma.
Ye fa meka dem.
Because ye de beka dem. But were you at a point confused as to which political party are now going forward? If say Mampeni, the late Prof Mills, Emma appointment as government appointee,
Kumasi Metropolitan
KMA. Oh yeah, for how long?
Oh, me Juma Hana Manche, but now say. After 2 years or so na me who say me na me ntina fa kosa
okay
nti won say subcommittee meetings kura okay me na me ntimi nko ti yes na me am stress omoma me fanto na me ntimi concentrate on the professional work and we hwe simido project na nkrofo nim say so magazine hanko a na samre no Busak Fund ne even DFID so mu hia orientation bia so mpeso bi chenim DFA kwanya be fa so a support a fitafo na artisans in general no more engagement.
So it was not purely because
engaging me at the Nigeria. It was Abuja, Lagos, Nigeria me ko share almost business groupings in the entire leadership in the entire Lagos, Abuja, Kano, and I say Ghana.
So it was not purely because now we are NDC and
it was purely on merit.
On merit.
On one baby who Jumana me yen was so me magazine. No yes I won't say the district concept, decentralization concept no. So 30% na government appointees no. Ya hye ne say yemfa I political omo kura party cards and enko constitute
technocrats and omo
ye ne say yen jai sa 30% ma obi wonimde na so betimi aboa krono a na sa 30% in technocrats na ya create sa space ni so amomo so nti ohwa a hono no appoint me purely on merit,
okay,
because me ni party card be me sure so humi any obi ahumi constituency meeting bia.
That was the question I come back baby say was there a point I'll consider say if you do politics it will be the MPP and the NDC same year, and I say political party be a nanka you are ready to go just as George the buy. Yes. But by moving on, you're moving on.
Political party be join.
You're moving on. You share more. I mean, I have this one in front of me. I share near my Tamizia. You want to deal with it.
Yeah.
First one, so you are addressing 4-point national crisis. Crisis. Ghana's economic crisis.
Yeah.
Are we in crisis as we speak?
Yeah,
Ghana, your economy. Yeah. No, are we in crisis?
Yeah, we are in serious crisis. Na the one say, show the definition of crisis. Almost say a difficult moment. So how the no. Now in such difficult moments, Ombasa culture say when you take important decisions, but say a crisis. That's one admit so a crisis more. I say you just dance around it. Na sana mi huno na ohwe Ghana sesi ano a won me catch we say da bia me ka say ohwe development basically no you free sad development based on just economic indicators. Aba be do a point where development is about the people so aho na if development is about the people ya share population so aho de meche no what the economic indicators no e measure development but it's wrong etwam da you share history me call into development history at the scorecard no your krata be the Kokoyok Declaration you released in 1974 kamanya nanka journalist bi ansa akabi nanko mu e de atoto Ghana ho be bia yadu ne nyina ne say development is about the people now be hwe say Ghana say na population you be ye me van say your population no see nam be 35 million 35
yeah, sure.
Yeah, 35
we'll
million
be around that number.
Yeah, starting 1960 no and the Republican status meboa. Na population is 6.9. Not 23.1% of the population no. And then urban centers. Now, after 30 years in the population no, more than doubled 124%. And the about 1990 no. And the about 15.45 million. So how they measure no. So time no na be me fan say 62 na na wo rural population 2%. Currently no. Oba behwe am fan say currently no there was 60% of the population now in the urban centers. Until the entire rural block ni nyina no say be 40%. So how they measure no 40%. Now be Ashanti region kura ehu. Ashanti region 5.4 million population no. Osha say 71% of the population of Ashanti region to Kumasi, which is no good. And there's a population in the Janeba urban centers now. The area can say, sir, rural block na kanina no, depending on special distribution. You can say they are atrophied communities, atrophied, and they say they don't have economic life. And they just say opportunities in New York. So how they measure no. And in any pay you can't use any other indicator to measure. So the first Ashanti region is 5.4 million. 71% of the population to Kumasi. So it means that the rest of the Ashanti region opportunities in New York. So in a way, we are in an economic crisis. And as I say, Ghana says, I'm sure by 2050, Ghana population will be increasing towards 70 million. Another Ghana on top of Ghana. Now, says unemployment.
By 2050.
By 2050, population will be increasing to, once I say 30 years since 1960, population more than doubles. So how they measure them. Until 1960, it was 6.9, 1990, 15.5, 2020, 32.18. So it means into me use population variables now. I just say we are in a serious economic crisis. But even so over far even economic indicators now. Over far economic indicators now for debt levels. Maybe a debt levels I don't know. Yentimi and service external debts. So how they measure no. yɛntumi service external debts ɛna baby a na yɛ revenue streams a na ɛba sebi at the end of the year no yɛtumi de ɛyɛ budget to support your budget ne nyinaa no ɔnyinaa no yɛ securitize no so aho de me kyerɛ yɛ contractize akɔgye yɛ bosia aba ma sɛ bosia no so yɛ di amanasa and that just say you know your very streams no your revenue streams no kura hɔ so problems kakra wɔ hɔ no mo. Secondly, over Dr. Baumia say if your fundamentals are weaker, the exchange rate will expose you. So her exchange rate here 17 Ghana cedis to $1, and Ghana currency. You can't bear 3 currencies, worst currencies in the world. Ghana currency count. So it tells you share unemployment over 14%. And to share the economic indicators in Yanua. Say no, we are in crisis.
Ediana ye. So 7 infant 2 yama ye do the stage.
And you know, Anna Osha jina ne say in fact model a ye de adwuma no. On say ye wo development governance ye wo nimdia ye hyehyɛ sɛ nimdia kwankyerɛ we ɛna ye de mpuntuo. Ye de kɔpre mpuntuo ba. Na ye baby a ye akwaji ye de na free no. Ye frɛ no growth oriented development da. Na growth oriented development ɛna ye de macroeconomic indicators na measure no. Ɛno no UN first development decade ɛna mo adopted sa growth oriented development order no. No mo adopted sa growth development order no. After first 6 years, 10 years, and a crash landing here. Did you move here and say, countries be brave meeting indicators no, but no, na the top 10%, yes, I know kind of top 10% for Brazil and Mexico can hit middle income status. Not top 10% of Brazilians no were virtually controlling about 80% of the income, the country's income. Not just inequalities, just a do a here do one anti. Yes, so God order no, growth oriented development order no, a mass economic dropout order. So I hold the nature no. Secondly, the almost have been who you say and factor environment. So I factor environment in the growth oriented development order. In fact, your GDP calibrations and for who say your environment na and we don't factor it into it. So it means the fiscal integrity of even the earth is in danger when you implement a wholesale growth-oriented development order. Thirdly, the also say growth development order no, and you're people-based, so and you're people-based. They only see people as a means of production, so they make no, and taxation. And inti over anti me say me presidential candidate say was yeah power. We are moving from growth-oriented development order to a people-centric oriented development order. No worker say even a human working days no crab 4 days. Said they be long weekends now. I'm for spend with them family. And to be a growth-oriented development order now. Problems said the inequalities.
The working days will be 4 days.
Yeah, and you know, even when him say after 2008 financial crisis, America, for almighty America, they moved away from Washington consensus to a new Washington consensus because almost inequalities. You're too wide. And no Ghana Hanumwa. Your development macroeconomic indicators now the ICC development. Meanwhile, your environment in SA. And you know, this model was rejected years back, but like 50 years now. And many anakwa pulled the scorecard of the growth-oriented development order, no, which is the Kokoyok Declaration, which was released in 1974. And they said, say, Africa accommodate more after the implementation of this. Obikra said, I said, we are pursuing wealth. I said, wealth is unlimited, and we are pursuing with an unlimited principle, greed. But forgetting, say, wealth now, you woman, yeah, forgetting, say, wealth now, but reflecting on higher GDP growth with your boy and some, so I would make channel. So it's like, it's just a single-minded pursuit of wealth. You factor nipa, and just say, see a beku yenina, ya the area bet do create because social see a destroy environment here. Pace na yɛ destroy environment na no ɔden yare na de bebreye nti ɛkyerɛ sɛ yɛndwen nipa ho so aho de mekyerɛ no. So we need to move away from the growth oriented development order to a people centric oriented development order. Ɛno no ɛna me mayi ɛka sɛ me presidential candidate ka say okwohwe countries bebre sesia na they were calling for a new international development order ba chiro mu se ho no ntimi nya adwuma no obi ntimi nhihye ma wo no
e de ne wom
US
de na ye ewom a ye de betima ye
de betima ye ne say sesia no countries bebre develop our own consensus. We say Washington consensus. The offspring is a growth-oriented development order. Today, be a IMF aba. Since we Argentina, we say bonus Aris consensus. India, Google says here, we say Mumbai consensus. Mumbai consensus, nature say, Mumbai was a people-centric. Yet the Nipa Hone drink. It's not about taxation. It's not about using man as a tool for production, but it's about using man as the means. The basis, the means, and the ultimate purpose of development. Just say, or no, anything area development. And I'm one also in a development, nibaba. Development, we and I was a cocoa benefit one. In the intimate career development, a money paho bachelor, but we are my road waha. We are, me cross me, no. Was a Westy Airport, waha, what the ababachelor. One would mention. These are development of things, not the development of people. So one would mention. Currently, no, what shares our growth-oriented development order? It is more about the development of things and not the development of people. There's a China for also cross why you almost Beijing consensus. In Tiemu say Ghana ya consensus. So it means that we don't have a development ideology, but the closest to a development ideology, no, is defined in Chapter 6 of your Constitution. I say directive principles of state policy.
Yeah.
Was say there will be even development and there will be balanced development. Krobia benya development. Na obia nkran bia so benya development. But says ya no ba behwa nipa ni na adwane Ashanti region say 5.4 million population. 71% Kumasi. A trusted development need the rest of the region. Opportunities in Niho and ye nya ye adwane ba.
Until you see a quite chire share mo mo achire ho no.
Yeah.
Na ye develop o mo nso so.
Nti sesia no ka your development policy sesia no. The only variables was inform your development policy sesia no your population variables. So how they make no. Say population no special so skewed. Sesia 50 years time you 70 million. Now Greater Accra no projections nature say by 2040 no you be abeko be 10.5 million population. Greater Accra nko. And not just say population no a free the rest of the country no back room and you be peaceful kroma development be ntimi nyina because when a crime rate back so how they make no when a traffic ni sanitation challenges ni normal bebre and to say development ni balanced across the country and the only way you betime hu ni say offer population variables na and obehu because ni pay dwane free ho and you know ya manifesto no yes our directive principle of state policy no and you know hwemu a yes, I was a development
which is in the constitution.
Yeah, I was a development kokrobia. Now development kokrobia na who say population redistribute population across the country. Even. Na yes obia e backroom.
Okay.
Until so kofa ye rural urban overseas migration map na. Ebema who the state of Ghana's economy. Because rural urban migration obia e backroom. Almost maba urban obi aso pese okwa bruchiri nti say o draw a projected map ma Ghana youth na so interview Ghana youth be 10 bia na baako mu 9 say media me pa bruchiri akọ media me nyameko Arab countries wo obi apese odwane free Ghana na just say we are in a crisis state so how they make no
nti specifically
the pese ye ni
specifically but say in specific
on say sisia no sa model we no a flawed and you know one ya propose say growth oriented development ya ba people centered no yes I say your development framework no partnership framework na ya de primpuntu no a flawed in fact there is a deficit there you say public private partnership so I say your development framework no partnership ya de yeduma no public private and you say public sector no just for policy omuna formulated policies and private sector led growth. But who growth oriented development, growth and far development matter, growth and reduce poverty. If I be a growth oriented development, poverty are widespread. In TSA and then enough. Now since you have public private a foreign import, Ghana has a development a landscape no. So the PPP no it is said ya borrow bibi every amenone. Near the abahan mo and ha contest nemfa. In two ba share ya han mo na ya say public sector private sector no any institutional contest. In fact, you can say private sector ni fear we wa anameboa is armed force. In this public sector no, which is a unipolar governance stream. And or no use public private sector necessary. Na ba akusi private, na ba akusi public. Into no aye conduit for corruption. Into the year proposal say ye proposal say ye benya 3 sectors. So 3 sectors no, ye the traditional sector ni bom.
3 sectors under what?
3 sectors. Partnership, national partnership framework. No.
Okay.
Private sector. You say the engine of growth. Public sector. You say policy enabler. Anameboa. Traditional sector. You say an vehicle of development. The traditional sector, no. On say it has an institutional framework, institutional system from the community, the traditional area, up to the regional houses of chiefs, up to the national level. So I want to mention no. Inti was high institutional stream no, and it's bottom up. Inti community be also in Ghana no, a traditional jurisdiction.
As I make me chema mo mati fati asi ya. Mo de ahemfu eba beka.
Ya de ahemfu ba beka ho.
Mpuntuo no ni hye ambaye ewo oman mu
no, because private sector, public sector no, political leaders no, omo ye passengers. Oba ya woko. So ahu. But o promo a omo life tenure omo ye permanent. Ye nyina akra na ye hu ni say ye one natural obligation towards them the traditional sector. In the traditional sector no, it said the NDPC develop medium term framework my district be at the prepare the medium term plan no. Yes so be retool NDPC no. Na NDPC no be prepare a medium term planning framework ama traditional areas no, communities no, to prepare their own plan. In tobacco community be na plan with on ejuma. And of course, we are going to look at the fiscal plan for the traditional areas. And you know, you see at the BBD train fund, but traditional area investment fund. Into a best started free communities, not free traditional areas. You know, into ya share sad and asipe. At the end of the day, yeah, expect say within 1 year, a bit more mobilized by 5 billion Ghana cedis. Very representing all the traditional areas, the train fund.
Yeah, no, on the the development
and it's a collective investment scheme, but it's an institutional investors near traditional areas, you know. So I make no. And you know the Abayani say you bet invest as equity fund across the world. And in fact, will be a returns never bano, returns never go into the communities, and you be used and largely to boost agric.
Okay.
Because you see your agric for wealth say rural area no, rural areas an agrarian economy. And you know just say agric ya attractive. A very redistributed population no. And you know, you be united the traditional areas economically. Until ethnicity will now be, ethnicity will now be something like we are taking an opportunity of ethnic diversity, so I would mention for development, to unite, to harmonize the entire country for development, and not to use ethnicity as a means of division. And you know, say Bongo traditional area or train funding. Commercial traditional area or train funding, it is being managed. It is that equity funding. So, me find say your partner even with indigenous banks you can imagine the interest that you bet to me at Ghana in terms of investment and building investment and service culture. And yes, our yisika na kwese under normal circumstance. Oshe yi levy ya de ba ya. And in it dear do na e was here on the masses no. They rely on mobile money transactions. In tika honomono ka in fact your people centric government in fact taxing rather no adia nanka ya no want to be for taxes in ko what the taxes ko now it's like a punishment so to the
only obia or against e-levy ya adwen
dabi any kwanse ko nti de ya say we are moving from e-levy to isika ya ntwamu but the be say ya be link to obia Ghana card nti no o spending no so na sa sika na ete no na into savings and investment account ya linking to Ghana card. Enti no o spend bia na wo save. O spend bia na wo save. Na ya de investment. Nti sa e-fund no so be it is equity fund and so be to my direct investment.
O spend bia wo save sen. Say usika na wo tua no.
Na ekwa aban ho no. Say aban na efa.
As in taxes no. Say
aban na efa. Says ya no sika na yet no eba into savings account ya linking to Ghana card and any easy no which means at the end of the year no share areas miensa welfare housing and pension so aho na just say obia owo into sa mobile money transaction population ni mobia no obia benya ne pension wom obia benya welfare wom obia benya housing wom enti no at the end of the year no ye betima yi sa welfare sika na ye de ama ona asa wo de aiden atwitwa ho enti sa sika no enkwa aban ho so aho de mekire no into ntina say it's another way of encouraging a savings culture so as you spend you save enti no eno be ma ewo ho un say your countries bit say Bulgaria even kura European countries now no on be ka kire ye say god oriented development but people centric development no de adwuma because obi ni dwuma ya omoma ni sika unemployment benefit un say Bulgaria kura no ye say da wadwuma begu no anase bia ya yiwa free dwuma say bia make kan wotie say bi de be che when your problem wa say yiwa di ye say yiwa di a Bulgaria for na mra kire say acha 7 days I was so timber report wo employment office wo so I would mention local employment office wo obe report wa de o meya on say o mbe sika na wonya no na month bia no aban ne de sa sika no ama obe bi we 70% bi say je na fa twitwa ho na se yehu so our dependence so a ye wa how we be treat you because ye mpese obia be kwa akombede no so I would dey make no ti de woni dwuma ye kura no o mutua ne ka Finland kura no 2017-2018 unemployed almost share that year almost be the universal income universal basic income programs say we need dwuma ye there but you who say unemployment population say nti month bia no ye be ma obia €560 so aho on twitwa no ho nti no I say a people oriented development yen jani panisa ramasa say be kwa kobokro no so aho say the crime rate baba semetia na me masu nyanya school fees mintimi ntua we nya free HS asemo bua me na me nyina me nan so am me kire no because nipa ne ye die na hia enti under people centric development no it is about the human being it is about your well-being and normally kuraya no haka say
but don't you think say free SHS is also try to spread the knowledge across say the bear bitima building crop because you be be any fear crown will be intimi nya kwanyanko SS
meaning
I want your opportunity akwa SS for the first time
with the farm
building no say ni nyina kan
ni nyina kan
because education so no a factor in a course of
we need development we need all this but the principal target no once I share growth oriented development there be a say the target statistics so but statistics intimi measure human well-being but oba anything freer Kenya ade akabe target nipa ama nipa no be henha no se obi ni dwumaye obi sim wo unemployment benefit woni dwumaye be register bosomi aban ne disika bi to account ohun se at least ama nipa no ayeden
exactly
na afi o maye other freebies bi to some fan say bia even free education countries go ho university education cry free but one say kura no o ko university a African country that is omo model o ko school no kura ye tua o kaseko even Botswana ya no next door neighbors enti na ko say ye development model na ye di ye dwuma no I to say there is a slavery system just ye ku ye ho a na ye gi ye ho sika na bi mo gi o mani enti I say the government no under this system is not for the common good of the people so who dey make no enti your traditional sector no you say traditional sector no it reaches out to every nooks and crannies of the country and globally share the basic development jurisdiction as a community development and say if I'm passing as a community development is the center of development na sa jurisdiction no traditional jurisdiction then we are going to empower that traditional institutional streams no and oh, yeah, my fan say me presidential candidate here, international development consultant. And I'm so me ben ho kakra. Nti say you can yet pam ho. It is possible.
It is possible.
Possible.
But in that stream on I can there is also assembly members at the oho. DCs oho. You think that SAR system no MYing. When we are the ahemfo bemu then yeah to say the assembly local assembly and our local governance structure no ye be ye free one
debi o yen ka se ye free o se me ka se a three sector paradigm public sector. Say public sector no. From government, NDPC, regional coordinating council to the district assemblies. So and I say traditional sector no, because and also institutions.
Okay.
So institutional structures.
Yeah.
And the National House of Chiefs, regional houses of chiefs, traditional areas. Yes, no. Apart from so leaders they are permanent no. Now no ma school pa. Enti no say no government and you can say better decentralization but you better to lead this because decentralization no and failure in rural population no ka ye nyina ye nwane fro rural urban migration ayi keke ya me dey akire we say 71% just so na fail nti dey ye be ne say once a district bia no ewo ni medium term plan but ke me dey ya ba be kan wa ha we are journalists wa wa won say o medium term plan bia bra wa ma wo wasom so ye part of this district ama wa kan ya hu say plan ni say ne ya ba be say ne ya be so I say winim because at the end say sikana we dey implement medium term plan no eno no afira kra na eba so na planning agency bia no o set a target na just a time frame we say by this time may say adwuma we awie afa resource component no way o hono yentimi resolve we nti ebe free kra na beba no de odi free akra beba no obon say first quarter of the disassembly common fund na e was eba march no obehe na the last quarter kra na eye den eba nti eba sa na it means say you cannot follow your plan and now with the mechi nti ne de eye ne say fiscal decentralization na kan ya decentralization system no say ya beboa ma assembly bia gina ne nan so nti this assembly common fund no kra ya hye say enye permanent o omo hye such as say is assisted self-reliance and say yeah de boa wa so wase ya na wa gina wo nan so to wa gina wo nan so na wa wo sika na wa wo bibia after prepare a planner obetima ya den I implement you have the resources to implement but now no hono no antima nya adwuma enti ne de be ye ne say ye ba ye se ye be ma be 5 years ye de be 5 years time frame say this assembly common fund no e won termination point na within 5 years no I was say yetimi win this assemblies no of this assembly common fund. Now this assembly common fund in be free ho. Now for the district be an yetimi build on financial capacity. So what they make no. Now just say after 5 years
we are coming back to the rates and taxation.
Yes, how are we building rates taxation? It doesn't necessarily have to investments wo ho. So how to make no.
The assemblies now bit my
investments wo. Kwanya fa so nya sika de. Say ye money pa no ho nkyere o mbebre sa. When you first nya sika de na on say you were raising it ho no mo a aban at the national level no bet ma CD ama district assemblies in the same way ya nche ye be jama mo so ho de mekere no ye nyina ye boa nti ye say NDPC no ye be tool NDPC na NDPC are prepare district fiscal planning framework so ho the district fiscal development planning framework not just say they are guided districts no to build their fiscal capacity. To it me build the district in fiscal capacity pair. It means that districts in prepare plans in agric womb, all the economic sectors in the womb, Koyon Befas womb developing in our womb. In Tiano, a basana, they'll be able to implement their plans. Or more implemented plans now, you better retain the population, no, our districts. No. And even in the medium term planning framework, no, could you believe, say, you were joint district planning womb? One district, bet many another district, a partner. And especially over KMH, on say yes, ya guess no. Do na baha pau pane na se for do na mbaha ne akra. Enti no KM bet matnasia say me ye me survey wa ha no. You be the origin and destination survey. Say me bana me take wo ayi me ba me take wo data. No mabusa say wo free hin na oba. We see me free. Me free district way. Obewi obeye mapping obo se dodo na free ha na bai afi keme se sa na tie de ma hu se dodo na free Nandom district nti keme ne Nandom district akwaya partnership omo be joint planning nti keme kura betimi twa budget bu to support youth employment programs wo Nandom district wo said they be retain population wo
not necessarily bringing them to maybe Accra because say na saying aban create or more training centers or offer more some skilled training and other things ebo maybe more maybe more the palm maybe no more the decoration you think that I don't know ever motivate mom to move from that area to Accra but rather we should rather target maybe move
district joint planning medium term framework
Okay.
District in here, but on say we are Obetia is a sister city because when a convenience moment or KMA New York sister city. No abusa say what kind of development, common development constraints, challenges, and tia I was saying, by your name or honor your conduit, I say we have become so comfortable, say the Ababoyan cat Suahu. Enti district joint planning no enka o ma mesi kayo ye hostel wa because now we catch room so mumra wa ho de metre no but district one district and another district in Tizek Keme and be anandom anabongo district joint planning na development ni air cost so said be ya a best term type of sub population flow no from there to her. And once the development may kind at the center of it is about the population. And when it's about the population, it's also about the environment. Because now destroy environment, man is part of nature. Since the one who say, "Say environment here, ya destroy baby ababiduno." You propose and say the only way we can manage open access resources, and they say you be use additional sector. Now the environment in show
right. And for something I would do a video to, and I say what join the discussion. Come on, ye diano pay name independent vice presidential candidates. Edema George Chum Berima Edu a friend of Nyaba Aweba Zongo and an opinion didn't come na mini abako Emmanuel Osefuku the message or the about on Facebook or say John good morning Vamitieu from Kumawu constituency ne na or say in the political arena in the West Memory Lane awenya any ewo Ghana any so what Ghana as we speak. Na obisa say debate crowd who here. I mean, nay, ya ni breeding komo na yebisa samoa. Maybe you didn't media a hard dream pa. Na papa or two anymore kase. I mean, what nearma good trim nearma what dream home so or deba boami at me at the developer on my Ghana. Na also watch Mr. Collins a J or Yoko. If you just saw Yoko. All right, and no any dear no. And you bet my journey live on our Facebook page. Kwasi Owusu, I say good morning. Me show free Sydney, Australia. I say Ghana economy is not in crisis as you are saying. I say ha you need to do. Right. Nyaba, ha you need to do. No. Said Kwasi Owusu. A type from Sydney.
Say me I'm a development. Yes, we are development. You see, answer development. Bet my question. Even though outcome you say economic there, but the source of it is human consciousness. So say a biobo who say situation am timuno enye. One who say enya untimin key the next most important step. Say you be free. Until we are living in self-denial, because poverty is pervasive and widespread in Ghana. And here, you're pervasive and widespread in Ghana. Inequality gap is so wide. Into a be a Janibak room. Until you can tickle yourself and laugh. But trend in our economy. And yeah, once I look at the I don't believe so much in the indicators.
Yes, they're until the exchange rate.
I'm not even looking at once I'm medical. I say I don't believe in those.
The crisis now. Can one say your development, you know, any population or minus said in terms of your numbers, any development and
match it. So it is a siano for rural urban overseas migration because we are in a global world into the overseas back home and they see Krumha. Madika catches Ashanti region. 71% of Ashanti region population were Kumasi. Since a Kumasi population, actually 1/3 of African countries. So just African countries which are three. Now for Kumasi chain 1/3. It means that Kumasi population no business opportunities to send one work Kumasi. So I would make our population now by a dumping waha. Bra ibetimi. Entino me share population variables now. Ye.
OJ say they're working creative platform for all these presidential candidates to debate Emma Ghana for NTS the direction they're working more type of message her. I mean omo impressed with my policies and your understanding Ghana baby I baby. Do you think that debate is a very important thing to do at this stage. Yeah, Kwakotraba.
Me dear, me throw book be. Me throw paper be. Na me kase. I don't believe in those debates. I am more of an intellectual exercise. The Kwaka Brofu. Ye be wie. Nipa ne ba ban mu a. The obey different. So I the metre no. It's not about debate. Monfa ma adwene ne mra. Ye na ye wo society mu no. Say see am no kase. I'm reaching out to the masses and ameboa. Even Krameka said for Kokoyok declaration document. Na fa to and then a scorecard of way na who be a Ghana ya babedu no. So we started kind eno. Na do na betin so kind eno a. Ombe said the American no. No crisis so long as we are under this growth-oriented development model, there is no way you bet me and make any headway so long as we continue to rely on this without having Ghana's own consensus. And to me, the debate, no, so far, the member who are Ghana acquire more of an intellectual exercise. Yeah, me who say, oh, say,
Timai fire drink hope he say, oh, if debate and Koswa, it doesn't mean say Ghana and Tim Conan.
Yeah, unim say, I baby a mad development because baby a meme war issue work a cry the academia because anytime be now better say yaseka ya development a consensus the second Ghana so anya consensus. I don't know whether say we name that crack consensus the next stage in say or more academia no ever come out intellectual models so I say me the intellectual model we aba ye betimi de ayeden aye djuma amampuntu aba then we all test it ye test na ye djuma then we can work with it. And I rather encourage your intellectuals and say they should be coming out with more development models, but your politicians also should be receptive to development models because they say the man who say, John Adams can be was a government instituted for the common good, for the safety, prosperity, protection, and happiness of all, and not for the profit, honor, and the private interest of one man, family, and class of men. Current 1992, free 1992, Babesi currently acquire more of politics for the private interest of a particular class of people. Into as a political class, you know, there be a dominating scene. No, not just as a baby. So I would as a hijack system, no, and it's more like we are in an imperialist regime, dominate, control, and exploit, and we have even gone beyond corruption and its exploitation. Because I debate saying ya omanko. I lectures do saying about me one organizer and I'm a boy. Conference do saying yanko no krum ha. At the end of the day, share 4-point crisis. We say we have economic crisis, we have population crisis, we have environmental crisis. Because tropical countries in United almost say there is not one single tropical country you're devastating, you're destroying environment at a pace to say now we are also in a value crisis. That's our value crisis, you know. And the wage in a ha or can we? At the betting wage in a ha or can we? There is no integrity, there is no trust. Nipe ton and nimonyam crap is car. Says one year, so I would make channel. And you know, maybe the idea I don't believe in those debates and so far it's more of an intellectual exercise. So
idea na Ghana for share some fan trouble. Now na make kind is it daily graphic or more newspaper or they buy within the week? I must say this year's election will be based on the economy. Should that be the focus for every Ghanaian OTA and say obetwa ba on share the economy and where we are now?
Yeah, economy no. Economy no is about you, the human being. So I would make no. Intimacy beto aba. Who human being share. Se sebi. Baby a uye di ejina. Intimika se mrebe kufuo those days year 2000. The campaign no se hwe waseti nam na yeden. Na to aba. Inti economy na ye ka no eno ane wo. Obotom ne wo economy. Inti me won me development in reduce by you the human being. So one would make sure no. And the economy na ankasa no any the human factor. Inti wa ankasa na say be economy ato aba wa hwe waseti nam na fa to aba.
And then I'm you was sitting for about the man penico for
yeah.
Those times.
Because the economy is good. I was reflecting on your living conditions. And I'm into me living conditions maybe a worsening. America said the economy is worsening. And I'm
yeah.
But me also crack can be. Was the economy na the pocket. And also the other to aba. Because say we are living in a country ya hijack opportunities in nyina. Say o pedwuma ya na wonim politician bia wonya aban adwuma nye. But onua na say oba bi kwa brochire sesi a wonim broni bia wo ho. But we expect so benya adwuma ye. So ahu. Ade enti na hode ne nim de enti wonim say broni be fa na adwuma. Ade enti na yenko aya ha de se nipa ne pa aban adwuma ya ebi kura kotua sika. So there is no equal opportunities for all.
I get your point. Yeah, they ain't come on a benefit, say only Ghana for me my be 5 minutes. Yes. Only Ghana for didn't command of pay. At the end now, I also Ghana for a convention almost say this time Ghanaians should do away with the NDC and the NPP and go for an independent candidate in George Chumberima.
Yo, medase. Oshe ya jina se yentu abama nyina anwa. In the first place, ye nyina ya presidential candidates. Because constitution no enshada and recognize independent candidates. But ye were candidate a political party in the back womu. Ena ye so a ye fees nye political parties in the back here. That is the difference. Na candidates na political parties back womu to say MPP NDC no. Omba aban mu a so far records na ye hunu se omba aban mu a even though Ghana fo nya na ye to abane de bomba aban mu so we na abre wo party no party fo nko na omunim. So they end up becoming, instead of becoming head of government, they become head of political parties. So far they ye hunu no opportunities ni nyina no bibia wo ha ye chema party fo nko a na afi akwa eti said de bibia akwa ye party political party pressures no. I will say I know I'm more to date. Yeah, experiment for 32 years no. And you know, yeah, you said this time round no. Montoma nye backed by political parties at George Chumberima adu. Yeah that 11 now. Yeah, bano. Yeah ba ma Ghana. Yeah, oba we head of government, commander in chief of the armed forces. We head of state. And you know, who say what the idea what that political party piano. Nti ebasa no a opportunities will be for all sa na ye hu no nti ye no eye sa na o man ka ho na ya say ye de this time baby Ghana ba bedu no free 2025 work no ye ntimi nkono ti said 32 years hebi two political parties na ya deliver ma ye no me say economic crisis, your population crisis, your environmental crisis and your value crisis. Say omu use sika as a weapon ene nipa ni monyam wo krom ha biem we akweti say wa ma meka wo mo ho a na asemo ya to ya be ma kom kra ye den adew enti no ye hu ni say ye mu man sa there shouldn't be discrimination ye nyina na Ghana ye dia so long as are your citizen no o qualify for benefits o qualify for normal bebre o qualify say wo so utimi ko wani mu abrabom o qualify say utimi nya adwuma ye na wo be kwa brochire na woni mu obi a wo ho na nso so kodu ya wanya adwuma ye na wa wote uman mu na wobenya adwuma ya je sebi unim political party bi anaso unim panyin bi unim na wonya adwuma ye and this year no omafi as ya move away from national governance to more as political governance so
Jobia at this point Obia ye adwuma Obia ye adwuma opeso ye hunu say or ye adwuma say NDC MPP ni Obia peso ye campaign bi o ye nso a obese onye opportunity no sia pani bi said ebeya obenya adwuma ya na so obenya appointment and that is what is going on at
but we Ghana ni but we Ghana ni no
edu kan say eye political activity bi no so de ho jiban sana ya man
ya unim say nyerere tamasa development crisis we God oriented crisis by no nyerere ka se we hu adebi one pair situation whereby say yabeka se sikanti na obeni munyam dignity ni atoto sesia no wo yɛ ɔbaa paa mɛtuma ka sɛ wokɔ akɔpɛ dwuma aban adwuma woanhwɛ yi a gye bi a obi ɔbɛma wakwanya ma wakɔ akɔ adwuma no woanhwɛ kora ɔno bɛ anaa mɛboa mede ka asɛm o ɛba saa no a wadefy wo dignity nyɛrɛrɛ state saa nɔma wɔ nyina wɔ Arusha declaration sɛ wɔmpɛhyɛ in the pursuit of wealth no sɛ clash with human dignity a ɛwɔ sɛ human dignity ne ɛma no priority and sɛsi a no I say yɛ hijack opportunities ne nyinaa ɛna sɛ political parties na wokɔhwɛ sɛsi akora no a yɛto biribi after national monuments a yɛfoɔ yɛ party founders nti ne sɛsi a no yɛ hijack Ghana ɛna sɛsi ahyekyere de akɔ political parties bi ɛna deɛ ɔmo pɛ na ɔmo yɛ yɛyɛ ne yɛma mɛyɛ saa adeɛ no bi ɛka ho nti na yɛkɔ independence no nti ka Ghanafoɔ mo na moto aba ma a ɔmo ɛbɛdi akonnwa sɛ mo sesa ma adwene na mo sɛ mobɛto aba ama ya megye di sɛ yɛbɛkɔ anaa mɛboa because the country bi wɔ ha independent candidate ɛwene elections anaa mɛboa nti yɛso yɛbɛtumi awene nti deɛ yɛsrɛ na sɛ 7th December no mokɔ a yɛyɛ da number 11 George Chumberima adu monto abama George Chumberima adu na motoma no a yɛde yɛba no yɛba for Ghana yɛmma for political party biara sanse yɛnyina political party biara ɛnan mu ne yɛba
right Mira mame na wase anɔpa yi mame na wase papa na we'll continue to talk njɛ sɛ campaign no montoa so why montoa so na monka monsɛm nkyɛ Ghana for
yo mesome da ase mo so mo wayɛ
right
na nsɛm no bi ne nyinaa yɛ nimdeɛ me ba ha yi na wɔn a makeka wɔ ha yi ne nyinaa wo so yɛ Ghana ni hwɛ chieftaincy deɛ yi ase yɛyi ato nkyɛn but ɛno nso tool na ka bɛtumi aboa yɛ community development nti ka bibi saa na mo so mo campaign ma yɛ ho sɛ yɛwɔ good message na mo fra ahemfo yi bi sɛ nhyehyɛe wei na yɛyɛ de ba na ɔmo dwen ho sɛn because yes
na some call mo na so de
yeah call mo na so in fact me ye krata bi koma wo mo me ka kire wo say bebi a yadu no omo ntimi nye ornaments for project commissioning and yes spectators of development and sa nye receptionists of political campaigning bebi adu no e was so mo development players
wow enti me faw na yesi awie
me consultant man national
titi o chacha mu na yen konko commission ɛno nko a
so they become ornaments to
stars yɛba ne yɛbɛka gye so na yɛba bɛsi dan wɔ ha ɛso yɛ oni asase ne mo nyina mo mfansi
sɛ concessions yɛte akra na asase so ne ama concession ne aba be wura traditional ne destroy ho yes this time no we will not vest the valuable resource mineral resources in the president on behalf of the state we are going to invest that in the traditional area because more customary laws govern the preservation of the environment but now ne yɛakyekyere mo nsa gu mo enti ne ka bibini a ahemfo no kra no ahemfo na wɔso support here
okay bro mama na wase anɔpa yi
yo mesme dase
ebsafo yɛba sisi na ya to aso pani na no pani di nkomo ye independent vice presidential candidate edema George Chumberima adu na yɛne ne di nkomo ne din ede nyaba aweba azongo anɔpa yi yɛne na nya enough this morning yɛba sisi na fe ya to aso na ya hwɛ de aka na anɔpa we have other interviews here they bro then our panel will sit na nye nyina nya bread nkomo ahwɛ de ɛkɔ so ɛwɔ man Ghana yɛba sisi ai
And my lord, whether executable or non-executable, an order of stay is made to operate. And Obrenu Kwisata versus Ghana Telecom is not far-fetched on the scope.
Those who are opposed to the application rely strictly on points of law. Before I proceed, may I respectfully announce a reconstitution of our representation. It's been joined by the Deputy Attorney General, Dana Asunabadapa. So it's a full house. The Office of the Attorney General has properly constituted. We submit that the instant application is offensive to the rules of procedure of this honorable court, is unknown to the laws governing the jurisdiction of the court. The first point we make respectfully is that the Constitution has set out in clear terms the manner in which a challenge to the decision of the court can be made. This application completely violates the laid down procedure for challenging a decision of the court in the Constitution. Article 153
about
clause
6
1.
minutes to hit 8. And I don't pay my young quay in Nafi. Yan share Yuguswa, Dijumadia, a friend Wilson, na Yuguswa deba. My men call man so na yenin komwe, we are na afi assign abefi ne ababe to aso. Right on Akoma 87.9 FM. Yanko movement so kakra. Na no pay yenin komo. Na penny a mene bekasa no pay a finance lecturer in the United States of America. And of course, we're a leading member, strategic forum at the Movement for Change. Mira Francis Asante is on the line and pay far away United States of America. And pay many in Komoka and share. So far, I also saw no said here. And you must see Kohawa also Hunyama as we speak in the country. Penny, what's your pombo code here?
Asante mane Ghana for nyina.
Yeah, that's Siano paper. Mijiri yese bia wana hoboko.
Yanko pardon. America the glass and kwa.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You ready, Aka?
Hello.
I see. So far, ma mimusa se o share hawa campaign AC air corner messenger. Political parties the Emma Ghana for you'll be sending the digitalization 24-hour economy any the aka meaning say for movement more no a plan mama you how you want to move Ghana forward now message I mean what observe the eco campaigner movement what is your assessment so far?
Yo, many answer John Messacha eti4 acha asantuma na macha otumfo o 32 o tekoko so yinira na the mechanism movement for change Rebecca say we are in this election to win your election we must say edinkunim bi eba so the bear Ira Alanjonko just Martin be the next president of the Republic of Ghana. Na election we know the Americans say a more consequential than any other election in the history of our country. In the election, election be here, but this election here extremely serious. Now the entire movement for change, you can say extremely serious. And say Ghana situation, no, I say economic situation. Ama oya hu hwe anyeden enyi. Now, do you want to say, after 32 good years of governance by both the NDCs and the NPP, say in February, and NPP are also 16 years, NDC are also 16 years. Now, the question people say, I want to say, and here's finance on money, I could do. You are Mahama Basso, or any day, Now so na economy na say. And I hear about me and Kufa some baby the economic messiah. The young one say, Omokado must not the Ghana, I'm not dunku, economy not say I'm a oya who be behind the ye. Ah, Nini na no you're about me, na number 02 economic policies or the bar. Nini na chose about pay onim the oil. So say he doesn't actually know what he's doing. The be basically should be in terms of the economy, no, na oil call. In the could do level be Ghana for a break. And now, see, I could do building swap, Obi and Koso for my opinion, you know. And Calcutta Ghana for some so say, see, you know, now almost $4 to almost 4 cities to $1. And to see the Navy at Metro Crime and I appreciate it. I'm on the album. See, I'm 17 point something. The debt to the GDP ratio, almost the Koya could do 105%. That's unprecedented. Now, so I could do baby a car there, no. I say there are many skates to me, no man anymore. We want to be that. And near my boy, almost increasing now, some man near my boy, did more than 5 times. Unemployment, say, ni penny, Jumania, I won't buy a skyrocket. So that's also my own day. And interest rate. So, Quaco Bobisia, now what me de a digra, and now what me de any maybe no, Minina, a cost so high, do baby, and I'm 45. Now, see about 35. Just a bia say, oh man, you just say, your forest, you did bia, and near me cost you no, a car dear, Omubaba, na Mahama, almost 3.47 billion. Almost almost TV about me, almost TV that almost the actual over $25 billion. Ghana for bread. The DM Koso, free SHS, Yankase, a bonnet, had a papa. Nelson po almost reviews a free SHS. No, said ye bear a mania of full cum, teachers see cum, students see cum. Now, bet must obey all the policies bar. What's the son? What's the sum? We review, say, Quay and Quay, then Yama also, we are no one across, not pass why you know. Eh, be anyhow, to see the IMF. So, memo. Near the IMF, then person is showing me on a Santa Mina Ghana for you and now the papa. The Chinese nipa would be a year economy no. Just a what boy may also any day, and hear about me. I can say, it's all the IMF. So, me idea and a situation, a circumstance, of the romance and the IMF, not saying because some of the debt to the GDP ratio was over 100%. In Siena, I am in Contompo, Baunian and Contompo Quanucha. Namekasa, and I just make Atlas meaning the American. A Camilla, Mechich, Malcontiams in Contompo Quanucha. Now, the number 2 into almost so many Baumiachino. Almost by air. Make ordinary NPPs, make the executives, the general secretary, Miracle Abuaje, all those people, Gideon Buako, only know so many or bon.
Mira, I know they are too strong to say, say. I mean, minim how you all measure that born on it, they are okay, but they're too strong to use it. Probably be any man and Koya own so there you can use that one and justify it, but to go to that point, too strong.
Yes, me I say no, maybe the same make us say, me because we are journalists for you, now in politics, no, you just politicians and say, you buy air. I will see it to me kind of crazy. But when you be Mahama is incompetent. Okay, so be incompetent as a Nipana bone. The same about me and also Mahama bono. Ya sticker or do you see also Mahama bono? Or not your buy and was saying more than Mahama. It's about me across a cassie, not some more the chia Mahama so there. Not about me, I was a castle is incompetent, also a castle of bone call. In some castle, I say, Massima make and Mijina, Jimmy Jina so Medeka. Also, obese are bone. Sata no na owu try there all the Ghana sika try there will be the America ska $100 to try now wunya 400 Ghana cedis ultimate to and the show wunya 1,700 Ghana cedis and san ultimate to what's the selling pa corner bon now about me and the right that's what about bon ko e anya dey enyi
no but I say oh yeah, vice president. At the time, the Kenyano happened when he was, and now were vice president. And we should give him an opportunity to correct things.
Yo, Miriam said, John, I don't think they can say Baumia, you're about me, and yes, I may buy a so because I want to conjure Martin or the plan to also kind of tune for the one dance it. And you tune for I am for Bibri, Okra, Ashanti regional, all over the country. Experts in the field of economics, finance, who be the one dance say, I want to conjure Martin planner and the Bema Ghana as a son of an instrument. It's well established. The Ghana force Now let's go back to the Dr. Baumia. The issue with Dr. Baumia, I can't want to say. Another thing is we're a hypocrite. And this is the reason why I'm saying this. Baumia Ebeka said, Baumia Beka said, Vice President Emisa Atta. As of that time, no vice president. Economy not say into one of vice presidents in the Emirmuno as by virtue of being the vice president, one are the chairman of the economic management team. One economy nation sa in TBBA Nkoye as of that time about me now say vice president Emisata rather than the currency or no also by answer questions relative to the economy. In or no Nijana and now soon in choose so sabi you Mr. Now see Ibia Mahama or Yako vice president Emisata Krum. Baumia's case is even extremely serious because only the Kufa would be in Anoka say Baumia and the economic messiah. Why you said that word, but that was what he was insinuating. Ain't Baumia the Ghana for Tumana, not Baumia and vice na Ghana Bibia Kama economy not say Sydney Hata. Edu Baumia Sone de also under a vice president. Ain't me and Mr. Economy no one. But the same man said park or see meter the Emerson questions. And more pass or see meter crew. If I could see meter committee, when you know check Ghana,
okay,
say,
I see.
You're about me. The integrity look around only.
Anyway, but
I'm trying to establish.
Yes, but you share the great transformation plan. The Muna share what we Ghana for also a TSC from John Allan Kwadwo Kyerematen. Ne policy and ne planner or they are to eba beboa na baby aye we if we are to get out of this situation you betima sustain no na enkoye say ye free mu na bia ya sa babio asa babehu de ye hu bi. I think in the next minutes and 10 minutes away anymore no, let us look at enema e what plan ni mu a Ghana for betimi atiase na mo gina so de ato ababa ama John Allan Kwadwo Kyerematen.
Yo, meda na me courses here na me use just like 3 5 seconds be e dey can wait kakra. Now from what I've established and some am making obi enim say no prayer make am obi who said there about me and them person me say and I'm saying you know omo executive leadership of the NPP no they see who so mabegu kumase right in Justin Kodua Miracle Aboaje omo nyina bebi no mabegu ho omo ko radio so na me say ba omi ame ba papa penti no ontimi enya asem papa bia enka enti omo be gina akwai concert Alan mo chinchin so free NPP mu eni nyina akwa na chi. But when we know how no man, I'm so say Alan no AUB or more credibility a chamber Baumia, just we didn't only chamber Baumia politically no. I'm we know Alan Crano were free NPP muna say no more can send be a home day in here. Then person show muna say. And contompona Baumia chana almost so channel. I don't know person almost trust na Ghana for every musubai. No most almost phobia almost nominate the better alternative to the changer Ghana for no. If you say, oh, now we are government in power, now person back to power Ghana for tomorrow. I will say, you may dear papa who be Ghana for and what now, especially the economy. So we need to be a car, no me on what for baby action. This is the statement person Maumo. Now, number 2, young Quayanim. A year economy, or manage a country's economy. I was so in a strategy would they manage the economy. Country be an strategy or the because country be an economic situation. And to manage America's economy is different from how we manage Ghana's economy. And to Ghana's economy, no, any solid foundation. The biano, or we can say acquire superficial. Into any subia, into also in a son day. Into movement for change. The air can say with the great transformational plan. Yeah, Bema Ghana abese abuchi. Bema bichichumu. Tika say Bema Ghana abese abuchi. Economy no, yeah, Bema is very strong. Into number one, you very resuscitated the economy. Bonika say very resuscitated the economy. Just say Edam na donko. The idea about Miani Kufa the Ed Ghana, Sika Samne Akwashana and Yasam Ketwa. It's a man for plan via Ama. And don't see about the economy no, Efiam na donko. Na yi fi ama don kodon mu a afi ni ama economy na gina afi entin kombiu and na say we stabilize the economy na afi yama economy na enyini ye woni ama ebe ame bechichu ni nyina mu ama economy na tima kona nim ska be bo man mu o pejuma obenya bi ska no so eho be den enti ska na obenya no from adwuma a wo ye no bibia so ye bia utime de ye na se sika yedutia o de bia no na edutia o na sa time no we 400 Ghana cedis a obi o wa America oni didwa mo de makopi China oyi $100 a would me 400 Ghana cedis enso tumi to bi se si akachi akro na na de mawo ene no e che wonya 1700 Ghana cedis and so no to the same $100 item a says no to me to no o salary nso ye increase no obede and what much na we ase it's not to say purchasing power ni na yeden eko enunti ye be grow economy na ama scan why then that growth no has to be sustainable when the economy is premised on a solid foundation the growth will always be more so the you cannot be sustainable to say e be jana na so dan den na Ghana economy is a coca credit na tiaba form because it's not premised on a solid foundation. You need anchors and yema holding it together. Now when that happens now, I say no it was set the economic growth now more if you are sustainable no it translates to economic development. So economic growth no papa and economic development ba. Economic development and say what they improve on the quality of life of the individuals, into the lives of the individuals. So the quality aspects they improve. In a perfect example, any panana that could be back up. If you say, oh, here a minimum, then you can be a firm on it. After what we did improvement. I say, now, pursue the dry and ye, until you come to the bottom. And then what we did is interest rate number form. I say, well, to so be say, Yaman Fasama, ya really cobona. Also, be on a man and Yaji so him say, you bring your hospitals, Papa El Ghana, and ya say, fly will be Ednako Amanone. Any in my Santa Bidia Chu, yes, and a Santa America. Do baby, or no one should not 79 Kadia Samobano. American nominal coy, how many people you beat me do alcohol? Into your hospitals, your schools, your quine, your nom, your forest, your sass, or sending in a bibia kama. Nini pana wa moto so se de bia o peso ko nani mo ababo mo a. The government has to say no go and see corruption no. Into about first thing, corruption to to say are spread all over our Kufa the government team. Omuna Akufo dey corrupt. Baumia corrupt. No every Banyama me dey back and up. Say am never mu na o say me chichi mu a. E no mu di na chini bebre so corrupt. Enti sika o man o mkwaje ban. Ni nyina no greater part na corruption mu sika die ehunu. Anaju tum na obi akokogina Akufo do ene Baumia untumi okoba Baumia ho ofiri onu mu a na okọ Akufo do okoba Baumia ho no ko asenso bwa no ko finance minister ho say Ghana o mre o si so se contract person de map obi to my yin yi mo bia maybe MBD Now so omu ni mra no so procurement laws no mu ni so it's no more power yemfa ade na ma Kofi Job and now you 2 a.m. na ba untumi na mo esame na corruption
we idea na okay
this enu kwalo no
wait but what me
now no we also about me ask me tonka
aha the who can here there na we gina so ade kan asma who can is it I just want some so more a by election kind now the original nyina so ana
I don't know the example so nyina corruption no na the example and you to so you know that person me trying to say economy so person we man here come I will set a war on a solid foundation it was strategy me conclude ni hu bibi so strategy me say there be another dollars no more about money so oba strategy bia ebe ma dollars be bring about money mo eba sa na what mean increase of foreign reserves just a dollar ho enti so koto bibi e wa manone a afi what mean dollar ni bi koto usika na nko chase dollar no enti that's number 1 all the time so make sure say dollar no so sa chi to usika no that's number 2 number 3 make sure say usika na chase dollar no so what mean sa eniema we kambo mu a the bia no sika no ebe den. Now how do you do that? 1, it was so bia would bia na asoma no to be produced. It boost to ag. We've talked about mechanization of the agri sector, incentives, sky the ma farmers, and you may be brave by say bia gan ye bia any be produce. See and import to be dear from anone. Including even tomatoes, even from Burkina Faso. They die, but prior to 2016, you import almost everything. Now, you import agri produce, and you have product free agri, and you will be a Ghana, land and fertile. Maybe some house and you also see manufactured in soil, and also in import. Now, we cannot say, also that the able to import and Yama and other Ghana. Over then, what must stabilize the economy? It's about the prior to 2016, obey, we know. When me offer any solutions, this is the situation. And you buy, you see the import substitution. And to be any other manufacturer. Na aye yenya mechanic say surplus. Na ye the co amanone akwa about thing because we need to add value. I feel near the more dollar. Number 2, another strategy away once me can so man dollars be more money more. Tourism. Tourism me kasa me chicho me ta nti no ade a Dubai dey nyeska bebre and also discover more money mo. Number 3, foreign direct investment FDI no and America dey actually America no and China dey actually China say omo companies akesi almost can bit with the big money mo bit ma be near market see money mo no so credibility when you corrupt no nim say do see no makasa obit with do mu nyina abo money mo and also the adwuma ba tourism the adwuma beba import substitution na industrialization the adwuma beba and until the air trying to say no what's the corruption so no kwan it the air trying to say apart from that financial service centers abroche baby or maybe on the New York America there or Japan Tokyo ni nyina ho tax savings ni nyina ye niam a eboama odiscafi amanone ebegu o man mu neska bo bia botom youth no bia benya adwuma ye afi na adwuma ebuso in the movement change Alan Yonko Shematen Yate Greater Kumasi Industrial City enya industrial park so industrial city say eye enyoma Yankopon dia chain gold bauxite diamond tan ye mani nyina ebe na ne nyina o Ghana wo de hwe adwuma e de beba Kumasi Ashanti region in general and Ghana in general not only in Ashanti region say you juice all those things you need producing beba. Apart from that, you were a nearma ye bear na hodo each of the regions agree or any other institutions here beba. Then you create the enabling environment. Yes, anima we no. So there be businesses of so ever so into say traders bank. Say ye the banks be ho no ma obi otidwa bia ebetimanya dwetwa odi bedini dwa Akoma FM 87. Enti so wo yo man a ye pese twa ne say won't share just one side. Ubu man could do baby at the Wako school, even in a Jumaye. The Wako school that crab in a Jumaye, the Wako Kakrabi, even in a Jumaye. Scanners wire than they not to Ubia Waton, a woman anymore, not as a country near Koy anymore. And not the innovations we are doing, ever. If the comments are on more, or maybe idea be better than a Tesla electronic vehicle. If you say, Scout being here at their research, Sunday morning in Anna and Saturday, Ebeka, is your state institutions or corruption, dear any baby. So leader now would do a new any corrupt.
Okay.
Or make my fight corruption.
Right.
That's why a corrupt.
It will be difficult so to me a fight to corruption.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, Brennan Tino, my memo 2 minutes to wrap up with why and convincing why Manfuitie was sentimental omo share on the internet across the country and baby 18 free piano. Why I was the Alan Kojo Martin movement for change. I also Ghana for on December 7 at Tuaba at the Emano in 2 minutes now in wrap up Minia.
Yo, Mataminia, me that say Minia say John. At the Enianumina say listeners. The mechanic say about 2 years ago, Alan John Kojucho Martin. Ghana for about 80% of Ghanaians every. So we do be idea and cost a call mama near and some be na Nina Koswa after 32 good years. Make us say good years because it is in Aqua Mania Ghana after 32 years. NBC also 16 years. NPP also 16 years. I feel na Ghana Krakoto Amna Dunku. And a Ghana for so say almost a share and society sonkwa a day a Niger near Hotonia Sumbi Ebeba or my brabo improvements economically. In this year, pen society, Samania you come no, yet a city dear to Chadia. And then yet NPP. And I said about me and I said never. And then yet NDC and I said you're a Mahama and I said never because you're Mahama's mother. Or no, so it's not Ghana for much romo. But we are buying us and they are best saying more. And I'm a Mahama as I am. It's mystery in Yanum as unto mine. And the Ghana for you, as I say, you can society there. But I say, Alan John Kojucho Martin. Or no, yet the agent of change or the science is from Kona, you heard about. I don't think I make us if you say, I pay all my Bemono, Abrabo, boy, in I, Abraba, businessmen, and the Ghana for any other African countries. Some renity, Mina Panko, it's the impersonate trying to say, Alan John Kojucho Martin. You're a tune for the one dancer say. Ghana, man, you come biano, and Alan John Kojucho Martin, appear no drew, and no dear good book the Great Transformational Plan. That's a say, Alan, the president. Amania Ghana for a communion and a trouble day. I am from Ghana,
right?
And then experts in the field of finance and then economics. They make us a catch to say, John, just 1 second, they say, Alan Ba, apart from Greater Kumasi Industrial City, a dear Juma Air Ba, Amesika Ba, or Menum Kumasi, and Ghana in general, and also airports na yeah, they back up to the actual internationally recognized standard.
All right.
If you play me to America and found like a CBR, direct to Kumasaneba, Europe, direct to Kumasaneba.
Okay.
And share the brio on moi, a Euro and your condition, Martin, Ewama Ghana, and a Asante. What's the question of the Mount Maya day?
Tierney, they made us say for a friend Francis Asante, in fact, or a strategic forum, leading member at the Man Movement for Change. And I pay, yeah, I don't know, I didn't come live on Facebook, Akoma 87.9 FM. Francisca Labio, say good morning, Sir John. Ghana economy rise again, and I feel authentic Francis Willie Doe. Also, which party is he talking for? I like and I love his presentations. They are very thoughtful. And no, no. I'll say I think such people shouldn't relax after the elections when they lose the elections. They should keep propagating their manifestos even when there is no election. And no, no. Isabella, I say I like his presentation. And I feel authentic Francis. So I say okay, an independent candidate. I'm sure so can Nyamba dear and I know okay. Yes, he is a vice presidential candidate for George Edu. Right, Right. I'll say Jerry Ramsey best man. I'll say Sir John, good morning. Please, the tax collector and the taxpayer, who has to answer a question? Okay. Nidia enono. Right. Lawyer William Kusi Atnasi. Lawyer.
Sir John.
Bibi abokode. Yada yanko pase na so far anema ekosen ewo I mean campaign ne so far how anema see come nimsa mo prepare for next week storm the I mean how the vice presidential yes
exactly.
vice president and then the flag bearer for your party or storming Ashanti region. You are preparing for that.
Papa. So far so good. Was microphone can a costro sing canning.
Okay.
And I'm talking about party people.
Okay.
And so everybody's geared up. Say Yanko Tom
Akoma FM 87.9 Kumasi.
Nipan tinasi timon tinasi ye. No muhun here say so mu mistake ekoto ban for baby a. Oma. So candidates say oh why line you happy. If you are going to be objective, Baumia is tall amongst them all. Na yi Alan Martin spokesperson yi kasa yi. Let me tell you carefully. I say Baumia bae. Da Baumia mada. Odi aze. Alan Martin wa ba mu sin Baumia. When was Alan Martin made a minister? And if that government failed, it is not Alan Martin. But when Baumia came to government as a vice president, he caused the economy to fail. How can he make such statements? Because trade.
But so you think that Alan impact ewo abayimu before the exit?
Yes.
Na eso say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia impact in this government?
Of course. It's
No,
either
Obia would disagree with you.
no, nobody would. If you understand who a minister is and who a vice president is, you understand.
Unless you
A vice president's position by law is not necessary to run an economy.
No, but that is what we're made to understand, and that is what he was
No.
given to.
The president assigned him certain duties. You get the point. And so he was responsible for those duties. When it comes to the economy, he was there. Alan Martin was there because he was in charge of trade. Both of them played similar role in the economic team.
And I know about from
Yes.
that.
Okay, Omina, Jumadi de show himself economy. Omina, pepe. All of them. They were, why
The
not?
head of the management team, I said,
That is a supervisory role.
they.
And I would trade in the original whole year, Jumano. That's what it is.
About to say, the lawyer open some say you call cabinet meeting.
Yes.
Let's say cabinet ministers. Oma count and oma report oma deba. And yet na mampani ehwe di hwe ha. Na ebuza se mampani ade na ha kochewa. Mampani se media mumfa me because media me da oma no keke. Na mum individual ministers no na omo anyo adwuma yie. Is that the opposite you see?
Let me tell you. So the president is not an all-known person. He cannot know everything. He's not an economist, is he? And so when he's elected into office, no officer, don't expect him to be doing the accounts. That is why he appointed Alan Martin to be in charge of trade. That is why he appointed the finance minister to be in charge of finance. And so when it comes to economy, you cannot say that because the economy failed, the president, he is playing his offer supervisory role. So why would the engine to the best of his the entire ABCD call? And I'm saying that if the economic management team miss, now say a per contribution, Alan Martin was a tower in contributing to the economy. And for him to make the statement, say, "Oh my Bamumpo, Alan Martin wa Bamu saying about me, the number of years wa Bamu, a chair about me." And let us not create that impression. And me say, "Minkas Alan Martin, I've never made that statement." What I say, I value his quality and his contribution. I do value it, and I wish that effort will make him for his party. You wish, you know what I say. But after a contest, a democratic exercise, was no, after the democratic exercise, he will not support the government. That is okay. So he has come out with his original ideas for the people of Ghana. But let him not create the impression he was out of government. Number one. So he was in the government. He contributed. One district, one factor, saying he bring charge. What does it? Is it not his contribution to the government? Exactly. And that was a wonderful idea. And yes, Alanche Martin is good, but in politics, there's an exercise of selection of leaders. You can't say do Mr. Famami by force. Do your homework well. When you are appointed a minister day one, you start contemplating how am I going to be the flag bearer. You don't go and sleep. You don't call anybody. You have a problem. That is what happened to Alanche Martin. And yes, sir, before say Alanche Martin bon. I'm not sure that's what we are saying. He's a wonderful man. As a trade minister, he performed so well. In fact, he has contributed to the well-being of Ghana. If he has his statistics, Ghana is 10 times better than 92. The kind of facilities we have, the kind of structures we have now, we didn't have it in 92. And for somebody to come and make an analysis, say,
we should. I was thinking I am even better than. Maybe I was saying.
Why and how? Why and how? The economy had a problem, but you know the source of the problem. Economic growth before Ajomame economy is 2%. I mean, there's been problems, and we are all trying to resolve it. And do politics are. How can you be satisfied with an economy in this modern time? They say, Kufuor, I give Kufuor credit because when he had his time, a year, officer near for say, Opeluana. So, now, book analysis in India. Everybody who has attended an economic class can give a PowerPoint solution to how we can industrialize Ghana, how the agri can improve. Are you saying that the MPP didn't take any step in trying to improve agri? They did. And when the policy is implemented, it is up to us to ensure, say, planting for food and job idea. What was the theory? And in practice, and then when everybody is chasing we, and you're planting for food and job, natural. And the body chasing. And do it on him. Also, me call Yanfu for a program. Me bano. Yeah, the body any chasing. Just me call the chairman. I'm to the try ma. Me say do kwasi. Wants to be mommy. Planting for food and job.
Then they body say body abu. They call share planting for food and jobs.
And no one a year. No one I want to buy. Body amu ye di yankasa abai na ma aduane ayedi ni. And the body yankasa abai. I mean, we can't do that analysis. There was planting for food and job. Efforts were made to make sure say through that, people were motivated to farm and do all those kind of things. Are they saying that nothing was done in agri?
No, of course. I mean,
exactly. What does it? And we have moved forward, but we want it better than it is today.
Right.
And that is what Dr. Bawumia has come to offer. That he will not go about just making noise and insulting, but he will tell people what he can.
What he has for you. May I say, lawyer William Kusi, I don't know, Mamina Nasiano, before joining live on our Facebook page, Akoma 87.9. For lawyer Safudu Kusatanase. Lawyer, Boko there.
Akoma FM 87.9 Kumasi.
Nana mumu kaze the any say ni ya me from mama mutia no pay
ene ma sem dey serious no
wo mo da techem no mo wo mo nine
say obi aso be kan ogre no be kan asem a ene ma situation is so serious ni ma say ya
lawyer Safudu Kusi
na wo ye wo hu say we say
aka ni bottom
me we say question eh ye wo hu say ni ma mu adin say da wo dey wa da kan ogre
eto de bi edin to de bi na yi say
e ma say asem dey ba ni ka mo yan kan ogre
because now oye aduma So you'll be comfortable. Now if you want to, how do you want to get money?
William Kuzem, Juma by Musonano.
Oh, of course. But you are managing.
No, what do you mean, TV?
Now America, America, because so much room.
Yeah, let's have a document. But I said campaigns so Ugusudi.
Oh, Yamiadum. Campaign the any campaign.
Oh, sir.
Say, and some will be can. Now, oh, butcher.
Eh.
What is it, Dr. Bomia Bashan ready?
Aye.
Obey.
Obey. Now, obey, they say.
Obey.
Obey campaign.
Maybe I don't know. Me sure some time partners or more, you know, so Bahana, Eddie Mompao. And as one cry, a common tell Casama Bomia.
Akoma FM.
Is everything I can say. People never hold driven. Because I don't know talk Bomia.
Ah.
We bizarre question. Now what is that? You can read upon it, correct the point because we bizarre. As for us as they are.
Oh, Baba, Mahusa, Kennedy.
As for us as they are. What is that? What must be once a while be. And look for party, you convenience within here. We bizarre question.
You are not following.
What a kind of crap park and Japan so a company. What is bizarre? We bizarre question. Says you written on the campaign up to 100%. Send out the man.
From there.
Oh, 20%.
Oh, 20 there, man.
Commander point is 0.
Oh, no. Commander point has been part of.
Mr. Jen, what's Casada? We bizarre question. What's Casada? What man, one instance,
say be a watch my
public place.
I know they mean.
What if they these are the people catch the gun of us say, but me the old in the pass out in the election and ye because I said no. And about me and 170 questions, man, Dr. Mzata. Was a man in what capacity? And now Mzata went to a man. I didn't want to tell my mama at the time. And then people were up a country, say, but me and the Sabi Ghana for Sabi, you need this guy. You can find and say, and Massa, I won't benefit us. I'll call you be our cousin be in tea. Or much now, no monitor proceedings. The God about no benefit or no the ideas. Master, you're near bro, I'm for near bro. It's about me, so I'm a catching a year. It's answer only credibility. Only credibility. And some of you know, I say, no one here watching a month for you campaign, one campaign is a campaign. But I'll say, a mano. The more can you court to that one boo. Go and featuring agro. Name a mano. Say, Ghana, 135 questions. One also throw 50 at home. Now, a mano. Brasian, 9 debate. We are running away. It's about me, I want all of English. And I want you some reader. Now will be a summarize one question in 5 pay. Now will be a hope president. Don't go them say 50 questions. What mean summarize? One is some reader. Musa was saying. The Ghana computing na. Yeah, Ghana for economy was some. No, we don't have questions and never message say. And a ball I work as over to went to. We don't know here Ghana for. What is the ball in our home? Musa was saying. But me economy na Ghana. Oh, hey, Mamma Senso. Mamma Senso. Uti yes you economy more baby no one go jina na jo mama as vice president no so far Ghana is your best inflation to get what happens in here but me how fine
time Prof Mills
now vice president
for 3 years fine
was now vice president opening mama Kasenso Uti. Is there something also see an economy was on the account?
Sir, I fear Banny economy.
None economy at the end. Ghana for which say now you win one. Macroeconomic policy of okay na Adiegu and then CD to dollar ratio say. Rate na do say. Catch me. Is it do 70? Ghana is a bush and do say catch me. Now, because I can't afford to hear any question. Almost decided we based on the community Japan and Japan can say Ubi Oba will be ano through corruption any and trolling Adarian and Ghana for this idea. Can Japan call us 2022 and Omulusu here? Now, when I say campaign, when you actually finance and tell them why, because I say that we always have by the I'm telling you, say Woman to go to be a campaign, Papa.
But why are you running away from debate?
Debate,
Then encourage your candidate to avail himself for.
Oh, Nasa Obiam said, Baumian Tim Stanama would debate in all fields. Everybody knows, Sebastian, you know, debate about much mama.
Until some Bessiano, you
know, she said, Baumia press 1 question taking 30 minutes. 1 question back. No, who could confess your mama?
No, if he cannot debate,
and then necessary,
meet him and floor him.
Now, I
don't mama advantage.
That question. Now, some could share debate here. Would the candidates be given the opportunity to ask questions? Would the Ghana for anchor? Say candidates, Muko debate, your candidates, and Yamabusa question. What do you go with a question? Because I'm going to debate here. I don't understand, I don't get it. What do you go with a question? And your partner, you will some questions and ones that they make out as it. It's a mama will be car. There's a time walker say. In those days, you organizing public lectures. And KG for schools now, hobby. And then a DNS about me to be called John Casabium. But me not on you. When he was sent home. In fact, in any serious country, Crano, a guy less you can say, and this one get break. Nagana and I say, Yana, and you fire say, Younger can't say, it be almost as a and this our party about me party. Be being okay, a juma. And then, exchange rate on can want some, inflation on can want some, borrowing. Charlie, you say, no, and I'm checking you. Ghana Bosiano do 760 billion. One at a time when people freeze now say 122, 120. In the assembly there, a done deal. But as I say, wow, mama can't. Ghana for Gas be a funny man.
But do you think, sir, the okay, Mokofa more? Sana Krofoka.
A family say people are suffering. And remember me, I was shouting. Farmers are suffering. Teachers are suffering, but you know, a better now, and I was. Cocoa, him for Lazarus, somebody, Yama Cocoa is an one. Cocoa, and never to for Lazano, a body of him talk. Cocoa, and then go for Mamma Galamsin, go for Galamsin, go for Cocoa Togo. Yen the buyer. Yen the buyer. Yen the buyer. Then is the buyer. Ah, the mama time on a gram 7 pesos way or swatch on a phone as a catchy, and then we know I'm going to blame and all told me that don't go over state town. MPP buy was see. Yes, I don't know. Gaza Galamstop and a chrono Galamstop and the Cobo. Obian say Galamstop. Good day, Obian say Galamstop. A chrono. It was a way nobody questioned him MPP before to Galamsey. So in Bajosa, if that strategy in Ayajuma, and then can be doing on a headrunner. What is the stability level of use now? Says on me, I'm going to put you one for you with the power. And it's okay if how can be. What is the stability level of our rivers now? Now, the mama considers what they are. And Ghana for in answer Jambo. And then Akoma Roma so for the first time in the history of Ghana. Obviously, demonstrated. Obi Ghana be or matter be a so that you say, be up upon your don't day. I didn't say Monty, your hobby or Simonia. And I'm going for check who good Jessica. Now go to Havana, Professor Messi now 1 million, and then you be.
Oh, Ghana, 1 million 2 years ago.
Because what does it?
Except that. Prof Mills, they are not that's why.
But
we have gotten, we've gone beyond. Me away.
No, but he didn't know Munta. Who for to be into Galamsino? We are Pesica. No, Oscar. On the bush of Forbes with America, Abanom. Ah, that's an okay idea. I didn't know. I didn't stop. Oh, no, you be at him. Are you free?
William Kuzi. No, let William Kuzi myself, Maninui, man. Last of Duku, make your case. Make your case now. Yeah. Let William Kuzi, Mr. Let's.
Minimum, who can about me. Bayan Ghana for you, would you? I could father say, the Amukan Martin Sumenge. Ghana for you now, sorry say. Galamsino, afraid of a beer dono. for the first time so obenya public sector civil servant abaka tell mo say ensu no be ye kono e be kakra fe dia agin samu nti Ghana for sorry enya civil servant na e raise that issue no na what be doesn't abai was wait on so kasa and the cost pack dey na abai and so for the first time we na to hogum say fi dey go for the ye go for that there be mente muntu eh ma kan sem so and negalam say for no say e mo e de cha fi bia me boa anya not on site
mente
go and find out who jemu gidi e bi si da it is another to so or the message that to come free galam stop sa ne ho ahwa be si na me nua aka bi adun kedu o
lawyer me that say thank you very much eba bi o na ya ba be share. I think our next issue have to also share the course or Supreme Court. Lawyer William Kusi okra dey say no di nkomo kakra on the phone there. The application speaker the call you know. Ebeka say in ye entiase mu layman be say entiase ne me understand yabagu yabagu say nyina so nim nti senanka speaker hwehwe say Supreme Court stay now the buy nanka obe reverse no anya adwuma e dey na kire doesn't mean say that's why stay no that's why wo ho even though speaker ajatum say or recall it parliament on November 7. Does that mean say still now no sanhye no intimi nkoso? What should be the position of both political parties, especially when the NDC the last time our parliament is here and san on sorry no na omo akwakotena the majority side contempt bi wo ho if sa anamono eba bibi wo ho sa e de enso na e ka kire manfo say eba de say enso ase Supreme Court ay tintin I mean omo person omo wura mu ewura parliament adwuma omo ayimu lawyer William Kusi obi kan sa any ntiase wo say yenya no I mean
na adentina Supreme Court ntimi nwura parliament adwuma omo yemu omo wura executive omo wura legislature mu omo wura public service omo wura baby a omo tumi e dia mo no and yes they can na sabi a simple matter who read the ruling now apart from say omo agitum so mun stay no ka so mun go back omo maintain status kono mun yomaduma so if you listen to the current ruling that came the chief justice said that there's no way this constitution will allow anybody to remove a parliamentarian without replacing that parliamentarian.
Yeah.
Yes, I said it here, and that is what the chief justice said. And it is a simple matter. Say speaker no, and they are in charge of parliament. So respecting the decision of the Supreme Court there, he will recall them and allow all those people he apparently removed the free parliament. No, because the Supreme Court has spoken, so we need to me so free parliament based on how he went about it. No my Juma now for the Supreme Court, yes, among days, so the anti official to me no or non true. Now Supreme Court into me na balance and share. So we argument, the any here, ye bobra, a Ghana.
Now argument in Babuama interpretation no
exactly because you see everybody is coming from a different angle and is based on law. And to me the Supreme Court na Juma DNC was your fin otie we no ahwe mra no ahwe Ghana mambuo say say decision we say na tia ekwan ben na befa so be ma Ghana tumpon and no me be decide matter
but when they say I obvious so say the eba na no
any obvious say
whatever be the case
the point I make
interpretation be court is
if they are able to convince
points being sought to establish today they are matters that have been well established 40 years ago in this round of court.
Will be in free parliament. Abraham
But I quote that
there's another opportunity. Say speaker, and the lawyers.
And indeed, it was also a controversy regarding the decision by parliament. Parliament had made a decision to subject the Chief Justice of the Republic to the Chief Justice had also even acceded to that process.
They are not bound by their decision.
Notwithstanding the Chief Justice's decision,
become the third time,
insofar as
the first
that
one
was unconstitutional, it will form a side matter of the original decision of the Supreme Court. But
And
it is
the
the court
first one.
stated that there's a
Second one,
controversy
after say speaker
regarding the status of the incumbent chief justice. The termination of which depends upon an interpretation of the constitution.
Will be the final
Once
one.
there's a controversy,
Exactly.
a justiciable issue, we believe that under the wing of interpretation, as contained in paragraph A of clause 1 of article 118.
They have already espoused that. And me see, because you see, and your mischief in here, this is common logical conclusion of what will happen. I mean, when do we declare a majority in parliament? You to abari ni yeko constitute house na ebisa say him for the majority. You to obi ama parliamenta. You declare another majority o. Say ne ya ko parliament na nipa 10 free NDC na nipa 2 free MPP. It doesn't make NDC a majority. What do you say? And I've said this, and this is the source of the problem. They can have numerical advantage at a sitting, but not in the becoming majority, because the people of Ghana has voted MPP as the majority. And the absence of one or two parliamentarians doesn't make them a minority, MPP in a minority, because the rule is that they should re-elect somebody to fill the gap. Not until somebody is elected. You can't change, you can't say that these parliamentary seats are vacant, therefore we are majority. In technically speaking, no seat is ever vacant because nipadi who are you talk about the who fresh him.
Depending and so constitution so chere bra bit me to about bra intimate.
Sentina
Within 3 months to an election.
To the extent that the constitution says that 3 months intimate to abano, that article 97 G and H cannot be operative. That's what I said at that time. Because the idea is to make sure so be quiet, be CNI, so that the thousands of people in the constituency would have a representation. So to that extent, no, to me, any will be in the parliament. And to me, if it's a simple issue.
Just by a natural occurrence.
Yes.
Natural occurrence. Within the period, say MPB say me mapomo de intimi ntwaso. Within the 3 months, the control by say within that month, 3 months, the intimi.
On my
any election.
On my parliament. The parliament will go ahead and make decisions. And the decisions will be binding. So
at that time, so also constituencies so intimate contributed to the decision.
Because that is an option that he has chosen to take. You get the point.
And that intimate for say or no MP say even though when now can there, but Uncroft also cannot be denied that opportunity.
Of course. So
yes, shall say so we are a crowd also back.
So the state has given the constituency the opportunity by electing a rep. So you only want to me a ma. I know there want to me go send you ne sick is over jina ho. Parliament only any ships need to me flow be or yare. No go parliament no yejuma. Yes. They have representation. They have a way of contributing. But say over 80 seats, you know. Now these are opinions, but there are structures in our constitution that determine these things. I don't know. We'll be there, Supreme Court, actually. We are bound by the decision. Not until it is reversed, that is the law. And it is important to state, say, Parliament is bound by the decisions of the Supreme Court. They cannot be of their own. And as we may, if it's a non-issue, and your mischief will be so 10 years. A non-issue.
Mischief.
Yes. Parliament Akasem, Supreme Court Akasem was a Maclosu Parliament. My agenda is in it. Till further, there, minimum reason be no agenda.
So say, or move quorum, they're much more for me quorum, but they cannot make a decision.
Or no, that be adjournment, you know. He was given an adjournment. He should have given a reason for the adjournment. You can't just adjourn Parliament and take the country to ransom. There should be a reason for the adjournment.
Also a consultation.
Oh, exactly. And what kind after the adjournment or a consultation? Yes. Consultation on what?
On the situation at
the Supreme Court says proceed with the work of Parliament. So we are consultation, man. Are you disrespecting the Supreme Court? If the Supreme Court take decisions and it's not binding, can Parliament take decision and their decision will be binding on other people in this country? So the Parliament cannot take a decision. The number of parliamentarians are quite binding on them.
Who say Speaker Bagbin? Was any interests?
Oh, now one will let them be a leak.
NDC interests.
One will NDC let them be a leak.
Dear him.
Oh,
dear him.
Let it be a 50 court in our side. our parliamentarians now pass for their work in parliament. Now, Speaker assure say, no matter what the Supreme Court says, he will proceed to do what he wants to do. So they should make sure they don't go to parliament to approve of laws as the MPP will have an advantage, blah, 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 blah. So, obviously, yes, the press conference, it is obvious that the Speaker is showing interest. So, we all England show NDC, that is fine. But when it comes to national issues, I think that as a statesperson, or yare headi secretary to the and the akwebo on kan wasem a man so for kwa brochen ko fa no yade. Why not? Speak out to me at any parliament without reason.
What reason?
Reason
the man was say or further consultation the situation at hand. Until Okwakoye, and he has been doing it. Yeah,
consultation.
Even on the Council of State for we are
Council of State in the call, and you're afraid of more. And second, the point is that when the Supreme Court makes a decision, you can't make you don't have a discretion. You have to comply with it and do your work. He's a public servant. He's a public servant. He's working for salary. You're for the Juma, so near Juma Ghana as a speaker, and Yamano some powers to exercise discretion. And we expect him not to be callous when he's making a decision. If we don't approve of those loans and do those things to run Ghana, what are the man before? What are the man before? And the Supreme Court order was quite clear and express.
I don't know. Blame me also the leadership, or the MPP leadership
for doing what?
I'm also so train assembly they call. The assembly call Supreme Court say.
But is that not what the law says? If you don't have, you think that there's an issue with the provision in the Constitution and you want interpret open in Tracia. That's say I think that the word Tracia Supreme Court now. And how can I blame my leader when he decided to do what is lawful? Or no farm na kwan so means blame no. Because Unim said, and I think these facts are not notorious to the public. Yenim say pension and or apply to the Constitution to Supreme Court say because they have pension. What say be more independent near the day and to omun say sign a provision in the circumstances be interpreting. I mean as we speak akra and ayi haruna raise issue no and no ye ruling also. What do you say? And for him he did his best. He anticipated in the future there will be problem. I mean, the Supreme Court can say, and your mom, Madia, made a man as a leader. What I said, you can't blame him. He did what is right. If the speaker was lawful, law abiding, he decided to disrespect the Supreme Court by doing his own thing. That's why we are here today, and it ought to be said. He decided to disrespect, and the history. I mean, so he disrespected the order because he was aware. But say order never answer or apply. The order said continue with your work. Then
train your interpretation we are and a matter na abeyenim nti train we answer what my
yeah the man no or say and minya adwuma biom me so me ko he could have been working no akọ to set it aside. Now say no more for recess na ba betimi akọ. But where recess? You know what happened. Don't be mischievous. You know what happened. There was no recess here. And William said there were urgent business to be done, and everybody agrees. Who said this? From say the majority leader should have known say urgent business now. Or powers. Only powers and continue agenda. Yes, but in exercising those powers, also a circumspect. That's what we are saying.
Okay. May I say?
That's what I say. Supreme Court Akasa, we all expect him to work. So him say the president has powers to declare a state of emergency. So when Parliament decides not to work, he can declare a state of emergency and run Ghana and make sure that things are done. If they want that option, it is there for him.
But at this moment, you know.
No, it is a car. What do you want the president to do? To sit down? No, he has to pay workers. How do we do it? He declares a state of emergency, approve of the payment, and they pay. When things are stabilized, we come back to the normal. That is the option he has.
Right. Doc, Akaba. Doc, over transia na di ayi. Doc. Aye. And David, Doc. Doc, no. Dog.
Ya ni mwana tie tu mo.
Dog.
Mo va me sheme.
Dog so here there.
Ya bi adom boko.
Ede ya mi ase pa.
Mi chia mi senior. Me nka na se me nka le colleagues ni mi ga mi chia me boss. Hey, last time prophet by profu.
I see. Mame call ya Safudu ko na. Me ba na fe. Ya bo asim na ya hwe de ekoso. Lawyer,
say no.
Mame tie o.
The exercise Ghana for nyina hu say Supreme Court omonye sacrosanct.
I know sa na chese.
Omonye holy, omonye kron. Amokasa mo a. Ni nyina na ye. There are many instances here. Omo ankasa. E kan semo a. Ade beti no more reversing depend on. E dey be sit obi. Obi enim. Of course, so obi should appoint one. Speaker kura to abayi no a. All both sides to abayi no kura so the building of party bi. The Supreme Court to one president and then appointing no.
It will be over parliament.
Oh, over parliament.
We are before parliament or masa parliament na no vet.
Obi enim say na uko parliament ya. Akufo judges omo buru betin anamboa. Enu mugumu. But they dey on here.
Supreme Court now can have.
Yeah, can say so because speaker you be bidin there. Speaker ko to obayi no. Any Supreme Court dey nyanka yenka omo so. But you na ya submit ya hudu omo. Isan say omo ya final arbiters. Omo kasa ese na ye diso. But the investor Ghana for say omo nya kronkron. Enya sa say nka wo nya former Supreme Court judges no omo so be kasa we dey entwe yi anameboa. Unya senior lawyers. Omo say we be say Mr. Sansari. No ina former director legal legal education. No ina pampani for do bebre o. Professors ne kuku dan wo lo no mu ina ba be kasa. E kira wo say ne di bibia na Supreme Court ka eye pepepe anada ye ni kromu a e na asem bia ba na Supreme Court a ni na fam or constituency ho pende ayen council enso bi de ba within one day ni agrante but ni na mu no ye seti bibia to ho no mu a that be it my dangerous am man no enye bibia kwante na article 97 GNH na wo ho no even for who say o ma gwimu no ese so bibi a friend cross carpeting say party bi be bo bi huka amana winning parliamentary seat on east ticket are betin left to right we so makwa we so makwa antina samra na ye yo so say don wudi edimna na ye say the best stop sa na no na MPC be lawyer to omo party so do omo ko ya de make how just na ade achi na say emra ni ho na say na obi atimi so ko ba bia opabia na obi atimi adwane akọ Supreme Court na kwaje order na ayise ya ene be yakra no ye hu de because of parliament do because how dey emra na da won tina entansi wona meboa you see kwa bi na be bia to o china betie party for ma be enum no ma sori ni adwane ye ko ha sa president wo no mo nyina tete wo di de make ye bibi Supreme Court o mo nya consistent no mo nya fair in their decisions say the be ya Ghana for do no be nya gide omu say me fa honorable kanda powers ya we say bibia ko ye unanimous na tilt in favor of one side there mo for ko nya gide omu de me ka say and unanimous abaye term da kola bia no akola bia betima predict the ekoso intie the essence ni say speaker na lawyers no mo genuine case na do genuine case say and ma sure article no ye di si wo say e best stop cross carpeting say party bi yi wo do ko parliament na ofiri na wo ko ha na ofiri na wo bu fa enu ti na mo raise say even rate no ko am ko ye no any asem no ko da Supreme Court ko ni ko asem ko bu because Supreme Court no won say ma ye call straight you can say the man for better asi what you say into no babenko for ko say one rate ni proceedings ni bibi akɔ court for process ni na court mu ntugu ɔbɛtugu deɛ a ɔmo second relief ni in effect no ne sɛ ɔda no nyinaa so yɛayɛ dɛ yɛabɔto agu supreme court si daabi na ɛba saa ɛna ɔmanfoɔ mo to aba ma obi no wɔn mo ɛbɛkɔ sɛn adwumadi ɛsɛ sɛ wɔn die ɛne nsɛm bebree.
but wei no yɛ common sense I mean.
na common sense.
applicable and sɛ mo kɔ court a mo de common sense so yɛ.
na common sense deɛ a ne law no.
that yɛwɔ 3 months to and yɛwɔ some days to elections and your important issues to also look at emergency issues. Some of them are mmara a wɔsɛ yɛhwɛ na yɛho adwuma ebi yɛ loans.
na bibi akɔka papa ɛbɛyɛ
na wɔsɛ me a mewɔ fɔmena mato aba sɛ mmemmara hyɛ badwani ɔnkɔ na ɔnkɔ boa ma nneɛma nkɔ so wɔ aban mu na within that period
na ɔno fɔmena ɔyɛ lawyer
yɛakɔ take decision a saa decision no me representation anim anaasɛ nipa a wɔgyina ma nan mu no wɔn ka ho na me nso yɛde bɛdi me bie.
so maame ansa wei
I mean is it fair.
maame ansa wei sɛ mp no nso o take decision no the consequence onim ɔhaw ne ama ne yɛdi akyerɛ na meboa ɛna o take yɛ and are you saying sɛ 4 MPs ni hɔ a parliament mi nsɛti ana mibisa o ɔbɛtuma sɛti ana meboa nti the issue was not about sɛ will be declared seat ni vacant ana parliament adwuma di na bɛ na wie o ɛyɛ sɛ ɛsɛ sɛ ɔmo suffer the consequence of our actions.
na yɛ saa yɛ panishe na panishe yɛ so a yɛto aba no.
na yɛto aba no sɛ mmara nso sɛ mmara nso na yɛde yɛ biribiara ɛni sɛ woyi obi a ɛsi na ɛsɛ mo hwɛ obi a mo gyi die onom sɛ ɔbɛyɛ lawyer to you sɛ mede MPP ticket na ɛba MPP fo nyɛ gyi di ama sɛ okɔ no okɔ gyina hɔ ma MPP adeɛ kyerɛ sɛ mafiri MPP a ɛno no sɛ mo anto ɔbɛnyi obi a wɔyɛ lawyer to the party ana mɛboa so the people the person must know the people must suffer for the consequence ɛno ɛfa Ghana nyina ma wieɛ ada yɛka Ghana ne bi anato aba ɛyɛ Akufo Addo saafoɔ no ɔmo to bi bibisa kwɛsen ɛso sɛ ɔmo nyina no president ɛdi obi aso ana mɛboa president take decision kɔfɔ obi a because nipa kakra bi ne ti mama no dwumadie no ntina election ɔmo anto bi kora no yɛsɛ yɛde ayi president Akufo Addo yɛmɛ ka ɔte ase eti sɛ ɔno MPP kɔ yɛ ne mistake na sɛ ɔnya na so twe a ɔmanfoɔ no nte aseɛ sɛ mo anyi MP a ɔyɛ odi no kura ma mo ne mo party na mo di no kɔ yɛ no nti next time no mo to aba no a mo hwɛ mu yie nti na ndisi ya president candidate sɛ mo ntu ɔba na mo nyi wɔn mfa nkɔ parliament na mo kɔ adwumadie ne ma mo sɛ woto aba ma bi sa sante bɛnyɛ yɛ sɛ MPP a sɛ bɛ sɛ obi sɛ odi odwa kora gyina sɛ bɛ sɛ yɛbɛto ama no a mo sesɛm na yɛ yie arai
ɛsɛ sande ogye mu wɔ seat
sɛ
nti deɛ wokan
sɛ adwuma nipa bɔ nipa na nipa bɔ na mo sɛ nipa ndɔɔso adwuma nkɔmba yɛ ma yɛ adwuma nkɔmba yɛ ma yɛ woma NDC 25% 26% 27 wode akyɛ kora 28 hours ante rating ɛnso bɛ development ya ɛnti MPP 75% ne ɔmoto ma mo no ɛno ho adwuma na ɔmo nyɛ a ɔmo da so to ɔba ma ɔmo sɛ gyɛ yɛhwɛ bibi yɛ ne yɛnka no kuro yɛhwɛ bi ne yɛnka no kuro mu a yɛtiti kuro mu a the major development projects in NDC na yɛ ɛnso yɛ 30% deda major development projects na wɔyɛ wɔn bi kura tena ne nyinaa wo minister tena TVC ebusa so nkan bi anka de wɔyɛ house ah na say de
oka se ni nyinaa
kini ja wodia ni aboso na ona jaze jeme ka jaze this major projects ah wo minister ko jodi anka ona ka minister se mo bra me jam me e da business MP asase for share di anka minister di anka wo se oy wo ba ka so say baba Rebecca project ye dia wa se wo ye kan ba se baba Rebecca project ye dia
anyway meda se meba ho bio na meba ho bio na
lawyer dugu buga
doc mami ntie we is space na niema ekoso or campaign platforms are any messages are man for eguso omo de ema Ghana for week we the beto dwa pa by kan ho asempa ye how all the presidential candidates I mean, for the NPP and the NDC. At a point, Mampeni, Crab Mubi, say former President John Mahama, the class no can class 1. I heard in fact, on crowd on which she said, Dr. Baumia Bekobi, until Dr. Baumia Winia, or was out to us so the 2 terms in a week. Mampeni that John Dramani Mahama and Kwana in our 4th Republic, and a year Obia, when ya 1 term to class 1, or kind of class now, what kind of class in Yano, and no, since I can say 5 questions. So, former President John Mahama did 2 mono. Dr. Mahmoud Bami also did 50 at the tower and also do. Doc, they are cost so in the space. You'll bear 35 days to December 7th. I mean, tell your fair analysis.
On bezo be yanu asana yakotwaba.
But 15 in our sitting in our Kabumwa. Amano. Mindy na wuni. Yensiana yem from Feso. Nagana fool who say if you have question to ask. And then, Doc, my entire how system. No.
Yeah, but my main cabe one just a minute on the with the lawyers. Someone there come.
I couldn't minutes. Robert Mania 2-5 minutes.
But the main one is yeah, they be fair free. Addition say you know, yes, yeah, government no. The basis of government is separation of powers, a part of any what checks and balance. Say theory will be government to be name this concept. Yes, and there's separation of powers, and there's also checks and balance. Now the air course we did me who say just power play be. And will be per se or trese or power or these kind of situations. But be a juma the money be no. And also making sure so didn't lame. Because we parliamentarian do lame chief executive. And I'm lawyer Christino Kase. The Supreme Court say a be you have to look at how Supreme Court a juma almost so the amount. They are the interpretation of the laws in the country. And I'm saying last week, I said, even no matter, if you say, I'm sorry, and I would say, you may be in Kuyi, Emma, so for no crowd, what do you mean the Supreme Court? I remember that your church, Assemblies of God, we have an issue, maybe an former CCC one. It ended up Supreme Court about 3 times. Okay, sorry, matter, and as matter, they get for constitution, but at the end of the day, it ended in the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court make ruling. And the ma utimi a free ho a different place. And the American say, na you share the background of all these arms of government. You know? Now based on that, maybe I'm speaking about common sense. Common sense, because me penny for legal luminarity, you know, they will speak the law. But the American say, yeah, share that because I be more commenter. Omode, I can't be a Supreme Court anyway, no, and the Supreme Court have no right. And Ubetin penny for be power, would you say? They should know, no, because semi wa baby na sementi bibiasia. Me timi fan ko parliament. Me timi fan ko yi Supreme Court na me beko. And court here were levels. Enti anything na court no, enti ye best say ana sa we no me ne lawyer dukusu ya adwen say there
this interpretation of the law we interpretation be anymore clear the difference no Supreme Court be my bra aya na ehwanya entiase no na automatically all lose I don't know le ma ko no say clear that's the point Supreme Court
no but lawyer me ebia de be clear man na yeah the be clear man na clear but when you still think that
strategy
in fact when you still think that But there's confusion among Ghanaians. You can so take it up.
And the plaintiff is thus properly before the court. Respectfully, the court
there's confusion.
The committee of interest is with the constitution.
There's confusion.
There is no such thing as a plaintiff, and therefore the rates which mentioned some the plaintiff, with all respect, could have omitted reference to any member of parliament and have just stated a question for information by the court. Whether on a true interpretation of Article 97 Clause 1, paragraphs J and H.
The former President Mahama, I think it was good. Those who advised him, it was good that he has to avoid that. Because yes, it was good that they advised him not to go to that. Now, questions of Busa, you know. Now another questions. Bijidi say some of these things, you know. Bijidi say the president will answer all these questions. Bijidi say former President Mahama was using a strategy for people to know that these are questions that are unanswered. And message, you know, was not to loyal party members. And it is for the swing voters and then new voters. That question was targeted to them to find answers. So they want them to think about it. It's not about, because some loyal party members no busa more say for questions and for answers and for no money no. But people that will want to look at the questions say, let's say this, then that will trigger 50 questions.
50 and another 50 questions from.
So both sides, you know, it's like throwing this into the air for party communicators and agents to answer. But for them, will be spending time to
expect answers from the other side.
No.
You just throw them in the system.
Yes.
Now assign generating that discussion about interest rates, exchange rate, whatever.
Yes, it was a political.
Okay. And the analyst also wants to draw your attention to the fact that if you want me to answer your questions, look at way.
And that was also perfect. Because government, party in government, you know, you have to trigger your achievement. Former President Mahama was focusing on the weakness. And also strategy. And he said 5 questions triggered about what 50 questions. That was even to tell you, so they have to tell you that what they have done. We went in Mianye. And that is what the focus of the questions was. And you know, it was a political strategy to trigger all this information for the general public. And America said that the focus was swing voters and also the the new voters. And that is working, because whether which one will win, but no president and as a leaders will be any best spending the time and answer those questions, because until when the communicators go, they will dwell on the achievement as against that, because a form for no be play the other role. Until debate in the Majidi say a possible for now. I think we have almost 38 or 37 days to go. I think they should strategize more. But I'm expecting that there will be more these questions coming up. But I don't know whether because Martin said did is useless or stupid or whatever. Then I think it's our word in there. That's what I heard. But I think it's a sad but that is what I've heard. Did you attempt there? I think quite the 30 few days there. I think you have been talking about issues. They should not go in there. I think decency is also part of the political strategy.
Very important. But I say, my have messages CBA. Now, Yanko, is Akoma Maminchia or say good morning, Sir John. Is the Supreme Court not the ones who denied the people of Asenov when the case was still pending in the courts? Ask the MPP rep if Parliament did not have the numbers to take a decision. What was he expecting the Speaker to do? What is the Chief Justice talking about?
A seat of a member of Parliament becomes vacant upon the occurrence of
Emmanuel Osei, good morning. It's another Saturday. We show Kokoso news site near 4BM Military Barracks. Or Chair Professor Smart Sapon of Kumasi Technical University. Matthew Otieku say, what has changed for Mr. Kusi to speak good things about Bawumia? Hey, this word is not fair, cry. Okay. Oh, a lawyer wa hide any member honey business say what does our baby afa baby money afa Dr. Bawumia ho pen dia. Pablo was say John, you're doing fantastic work for Ghana and Asantima. God bless you. The NDC is coming back live. Okay. Ousunya, Mr. John, good morning. Tell the MPP man to stop what he's saying about too much food. This time is a rainy season. That's why he's saying what we are going through. Dry season we see. Okay. Stephen Wonder, 24-hour economy is the best policy. So Ghanaians shall vote massively for JDM to come and fix the economy. Stephen Wonder, Achuma Kwangoma District. All right. Okay. All right. So, what do you bet me about your Facebook page? Akoma 87.9 FM kind the amount. But more than teacher constitution, I say is the JDM who wants to be president again in Ghana, the same that we already know, or the new one is a question. Is it the same JDM who cancelled trainee allowance, introduced 3 months pay policy, brought Dumso, posterity will never forgive us if we vote for him? All right. That is also at the end. When so a Musa Batwa say the recent Afrobarometer survey aligns with John Mohammed's proposed 24-hour economy policy, which focuses on creating sustainable jobs through 3-shift system. The approach remains aims is to boost employment by maximizing productivity, directly addressing voters' priority on job creation, as indicated in the survey. So, but I'll bet me the Abana, ya share I can kind of the amount. Akoma 87.9 FM. Also, wait me at the Odia Abba our Facebook page. I'll give you opportunity on the lines near Dinkomo. But lawyer, obviously, other than that, but what can be people for
the right because we want to be unfair. I'm sure he's referring to your campaign now. Me support Kennedy Japan.
Oh, okay. Now that time, what can be born in before?
Man, can be me say Kennedy would be a better leader for MPP than Bawumia. That's what I said.
And besides, idea now, sir.
Nothing has changed. We have chosen the you see, Nipa anti-democratic exercise as you. The party is choosing a leader, and I opted for Kennedy Japan. And a party said that be Bawumia and papa. And now you're to mama. And I make I say. Bawumia na muka digitization mama say enguko buon ketenkete ani obere be Ghana adin ketu ansem na onamo keka one house one fridge na we ka I'm creating one house one fridge onti onti
we also okoto ba for 30 years na de betua
also one house one fridge ayi monti me bro
David Minty
oh sir
Minty
your mama say one house one fridge
heaven
platform, hey, platform or campaign, one house, one fridge.
I know for what?
On the month, you be out, if you ever one fridge. No matter what, can say
no, but lawyer.
It's true. I'll give you that. I'll send you the video. I'll send you the video. I'll send the video. I'll send the video. Also, I'll send cry. Ultimate document digitization. And to know and grab the document in China. How can we digitize it? Monty. These are the things he's saying. And I'm saying that giving such messages, Ghanaians will miss a big opportunity voting for, if they vote for him, because no more they bano, it be praying, modern world development ɛnyɛ dɔkono nketenkete ɛnyɛ dɔkono digitize ɛnyɛ fridge one house one fridge ɛnyɛ ɛyi koko nketenkete
one house one fridge.
me de baba o me say ɛyɛ video
I've not heard it.
oh me de baba o ɛyɛ video I have it me de baba one house one fridge and these are some of the things he says and I'm saying to me Baumia will be perfect. Look, I'm going to give you statistics about the economy when they took over in 2017. Net inflation 11.19%. It was when the government had taken over. 2018, I call 9.4. 2018, I call 9.4. 2019, 7.14. And I COVID by 2020, and I call 9.89%. Now, look at the trend of the inflation when we took over power. We 16%, then we started bringing it down. You get the point. And so I'm saying that if he was in charge of the economic management at the time, yes. So you know the reason. You don't know. America, Britain, everybody has their inflation shooting up because of COVID. Because you have 2 years, no production. We need to pay salaries. We needed to make sure that things work right. And we had to invest it. Now, immediately after that, there was a war that affected us because Ukraine. You know that sort of thing in Ukraine and how it affected other economies. Donor countries decided not to give us money to continue with our projects because and if you want to judge Baumia, judge him from 2017. Yes. Whether he was able to bring inflation down, whether he was able to stabilize the city at the time. And no.
For how long if you're free that Ukraine, Russia, COVID impact? For how long also you're free?
It depends on how.
Because as we speak there, you're free move.
Yeah, so after no that's what 50. Exactly.
3%.
So we are working it out.
But the exchange rates.
Look, when your mama was president, there was no COVID, there was no Ukrainian war. We know what happened. He left the economy at 2% for us. Because in the face of everything, he couldn't. Not dollar is saying, no to this plant electricity. Over $2 one CD, or connect 4 CDs, 400%. And if you don't consider that way, you think that the figures are big now. One CD, continue your economy maintainer, Kiamatino 4 CDs. It was 400%. We have also hit the 400%. And if anybody has a moral right to criticize the dollar, it's not the NDC.
The impact ain't the same.
Cocoa is saying. Cement bag, cocoa to cement bag saying. Satam and then cocoa bag a toastman to do a same mama time. So look at it from that point of view. And we are saying that we are not saying that it is good for the CD to dollar rate to have written that way, but we can look at the economy in its totality and say MPP buy and Yama cost better than NDC. After all, John Mama is the only person who has been the verdict of the people say, "Wow, born first term." Ebi see that me I show 1 million votes after your first term. She say, "Why am I she?" Otherwise, why would you be in power? No be too much. Why show and you want your friend Musu. Who's going for Musu Naba? Obi about Abamu or Tiabamu 1 term, yet me to about massively Etiano. And if you say Ghanaians had no reason to vote that way. And you want to bring this up, if it was the party, it is different. But for the personality, I'm begging Ghanaians. Say a party in the I believe that parties should be rotated. Metiasia, that is democracy. But the person of Mama, our born 1 term, you know, up to 1 million votes Etiano. What's your Sanko Fanaba?
2020. Yeah.
Who
sees about 24 grand out to
na see parliamentary is their mama dia. Parliamentary is their mama dia.
Ono na je ba. Ono na be jija ko.
Oh no, what say for them? Obasan review.
E di say no.
Obasan review.
Se se e ko.
Obasan review. Na masan review.
Dog ni.
Yeah, I said you tell me. Apart from the economy, look at infrastructure. Come to health. Agenda 111. Yes. Kumasi ha hospital center NDC dimisi here. hospital saying omo kan be kwai omo kan ho de enum timi we had KT accuracy okra KT any we KT they couldn't finish yeah but say yeah ka wie no ho mo percentage na mo wie they didn't do anything in Asante region. Yeah. Well. A man is say I will win. You go marry. Na tie de make a tell tie de make a tell no. Crop from over 2 years. Over 2 crop from. And say me say crop from is over 2 years.
1.7 million votes. 8 years no.
Central market. The SCA do no. Aso in KGT. Told him sir.
But lawyer, some of these defense as in the was here drew. As was saying KGT.
Yeah.
Granted.
Yeah.
But there is no access. It is not productive at the moment.
Yes.
It is not impacting any life.
Exactly.
Asante Mantema.
Yes.
Traders eguswa peso.
Yes.
Central business districts.
No, but is there no a reason why we couldn't finish? There is. And if you say every boy your marriage almost 30 market no more. There is a reason. Bibi Sankai and they affecting. What I say? But we are on it. If you look at the airport, yes, see, airport international airport, Eddie, and can you be treated to asphalt? Sikajuju die, eko kati so. Ekati so. So, but you can't look at it so. And can't say you.
At the moment, Kumasi as international airport, unwe
But we are used. Locally, we are using it. And when I make Accra,
that's why domestic.
It is domestic. But nobody tells an international facility. We are facing terminal 3. We are facing terminal 3. What is on fire order? You on fire order? I facing terminal 3. Ebi ebi akara fa akara bai. And you do one who. Mesi who you one who.
No, we are in a minute. I will be a minute.
Uba judiciary. Uba judiciary. NDC wo court da ba kokro man si. Ba ko bi am yeso musini ha. Just say Uba say phone no say dey. Come and see ultra modern court ISC about 130 something courts. They are around the country. Won't copy. District court and second court. No, I don't know monumental. Musi say. Musi say tell me.
Court complex no una see.
Court complex there. Na una see. Una see. One law office. One law office no yes. One law office no yes. Momo says classroom block. Sikana modiji. Look at a residence for judges. House easy. Resident for judges. I decide brutally.
Enough to impress.
Go to the courtrooms and share computers now they are provided. The judiciary is working. Uko Uber education there do chum. School brain the in fact last me share school buses you know. Buses. I'm going to take buses about and I'm saying when did they get these buses? It is only under MPP government. Obia or bus. Obia. More time bus and I'm to my school. Come to the Ghana Police Service. Look at how we have modernized the police service. There are cameras all over Kumasi. Look at the motorbikes we have provided. Look at the housing projects we have provided. Come on, I'm this one. I'm me say and this one police body deeper. Entire
right. But lawyer, we in a minute. This is a question that people would want to know.
Okay.
Now me can't a central market phase 2 project.
Exactly.
Then who can say the reasons are there for the delay? So I mean. I didn't account for that.
It was finance.
Finance asset.
Yes. So the contractors had to leave the site because security chairman ama.
Nesikeni ho.
Dabi. Security ye no. Anyhow because any me see here. COVID near that didn't affected it. Yes. Omdidi ko Ukraine ko hwe ho. What the other okay Ukraine?
But is it the okay should convincing enough?
Oh, so me bow. Unless if you want to be convinced, let me tell you. Unless you are trying to say everybody decided to put these structures down and leave the place as it is. It can be.
We have priority project, the mamo.
Yes, it's a priority project, but it's money that is used in building it. What do I say? Well, we are KJT. Your mama, apart from KJT or start here when we are doing in a certain region, he didn't do anything. For a project, wouldn't be a free buy. Wouldn't be a for a project, wouldn't be a free buy. And KJT, we are promising the people of Ashanti say, yeah, will complete.
But that will be the meeting there. That will be around 2026.
But some say you come back to site. Some say come back to site.
But lawyer site, Papa Benny.
Oh, but we are doing the best.
I mean, site, Papa. With all due respect, site, Papa Benny.
We are back to site because we are generating money to do it from left, right corner. So we are doing it and we will complete it. You get a point. So,
but at the moment in Kayebe,
KJTI is not the only project.
And Kamai Krano. Kamai Ka Yetimi Bura KJTI. And the man by now a central market. Nanka Yabuja. A mamumra ye mo ye juma ye namun kania so
now if you pennies are if you pennies are sebe the pacho kwatika so be man to mati ni dini do no to end me anya kejetia nyano want me anya kejetia want me anya central market say why central market we enti we ni paboni ni. I mean, how can you imagine this? Almost in their tenure of governance, not central market anymore. I know man. 4 years when the money are Ghana. Me say 4 years when the money are Ghana. I know man. I know man.
Me da say, my lawyer Safuduku Bremuna.
So John, assembly said, dog with the omoye economics no. Omuni muye pa until the can. Omuni. Sa 2017 year you know me kanyina sa benen this atoto niam no a IMF ne World Bank na predict say the economy was going to grow by 8%. Something matter amaso. Because of the solid foundation NDC lay.
Solid.
Here Cassidy to dollar. NDC connect and I'm 3.84. And then the fact of the matter is say, hey, you're 17. And what you mean say, you have fair 3 years in there and get about me and the last 4 years in the union free. Open union free coin. You saw the mandate of the people in Ghana for it to me, Mama Samonye. Muslim Foundation, Moon Farmer second term, blah 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 blah. Now, Mudisi Triana done and draw. A post for a year gain. In 2020 December, Omo will pay. January, I know what here. In 2020 December, most public civil servants will pay thousand in a chase coming to pass to Abama. Hey, free agency and Basaya and the idea was good, and I say, and say about 20 Kanima boom and I say, and then say the idea was excellent, but implementation, German and Colano are boom. Say, hey, Papa, no, that's not why I last now. Only Jamaican. Hey. Me say lawyer Safuduku. Who doesn't know? Say Nkrano protest no we no. Omo preference ni papa. Who doesn't know? Dog well let's he can attest to it.
But the results are clear. I mean when you look
results
at
no you cooked. Nkrano so open the credit there. And then most of these students when they are writing what's in there they are upon the chair. Because so most of the schools that's what they do. And now they also me kind of cram on them. Teachers no money. Me ma say dey teachers no money me kind of question.
Asim we say mo flag bearer crack can be.
Okay kind of no.
Ama.
And I complain university lectures no complain no.
Ama
out.
Yes now wonder undermining the performance of our teachers.
And teachers no money problem.
And
tie. Say no teachers no money problem.
One day problem.
Someone e ban implement you money kwa crunch ade no. Akola ko tena 1 month. Na dey no na buy questions are marking sims and questions never na ma omo to go ya omo di atam ni dey insult you see content you see marking scheme you see the content of the subject you see marking scheme when textbooks have not been supplied no textbook in any elective subject in fan coy is a brand new textbook marking scheme ɛna nkura no yɛka kyerɛ ɔmo sɛ questions ne ba na ama no ɔmo tutu gu didi atam nti adeɛ no sɛ sɛ yɛka sɛ yɛ concept no mu a the foundation had been laid and it was so clear say ye be free so no na World Bank na MF nya ka say in 2017 say na nyama be 10 ye ko so say ja 2 oil force and enter che e de ma wono ma ko sinking fund stabilization fund infrastructure no just get the moon say your bond na no ye de be oh na hono mo ko tin iska fia no when COVID came na we a fact
but lawyer, it is a fact.
It's a fact
that there were some funds
sinking for some money natural
Kofesika sponsor some projects.
You know what?
So the all kind he's not wrong.
We left a sustainable public debt management with the economy. Remember, mama statistics, no. GDP ratio of what 55.6.
Yeah, but
because you could do 90 more time.
That to GDP.
GDP ratio, I say, and this time you know around 55. Mobile, it could do 90.
Because we had to finance the monies you have borrowed.
2, we left a stable credit rating of B minus, and then but your credit rating, I say, and your junk economy, any other scrap.
We are recovering.
Oh, recover, say, yes, that's junk on your da.
We are recovering.
Yeah, you put or being see that. And then this B minus. Yes, Uncle Subium. We had a low budget deficit of 6.1.
But lawyer, the all can a positive. A positive.
Oh, and a negative no. Okay, can
a positive.
I'm not negative man.
Or say that time no not COVID.
Listen to me. COVID by
microphone no. But yeah, microphone, mommy.
The industry was growing by 4.3. And I'm saying. The manufacturing sector was growing by 7.9. What do you say? 1 point something. 5 figures in brand here. And yeah, public debt as at the time while you office 122 billion and then 760 billion. Infrastructure problem why? And then you need air computer Ashanti rating. You might be 1.7 million votes. You might be 400,000 on your computing. And now who's them? Asante Fresh for Mutio, Mutu Obama will be 1.7 million. And I'm more be 400,000 pound crown. No money compete in terms of projects. Mama, one of you crown, could you? Emma, or commission. What commission? And so was this stone will be a Vanessa, Akoma Pentino, one cham will be a.
There were still few, your still areas, sir.
Monsieur Commission, another commission.
This.
What is it? You want to amend this in the
This government.
Also, we have Vanessa.
I know that one. They mean to me. Say amend this in the.
Is it not a fact that commission
or Chediama party near 90 senior now when in the May lawyer
and the meters to cry. You never found a tree and your trouble like him. Mama didn't understand 4 years ago. And it's also a ban. More than turning a da deception about Yakuano and a kind of was okay. Somewhat. First, you know, most of Yamaka for them to Abama, and then Cocoon Prony and China de Hoffa. Go and see now, go, me from ever. Me from ever. Opening almost appointed market to me, no, Omonia bro. Mama by Shamaka, I would see as one say, Tafu, Tonsunino, we on all you. And I'm not in trouble. Jimmy's after hospital. Now, cut that here. So, 1 minute is all. Opening Bonibam, I sent for the Amazon. I sent to the Yam. You see, I'm not going to say, Crow from 4 to a top of people. Ah, Crow from about to a bar. And this is the minute 6. Now, NPP and 100 our police station. Mama buy oversee and 9 more and projects. I can move your mom. Now, men factories, some awesome. Sometimes 4 pass. Say, yeah, Casamwa. See, I was to Obama people. And you are 20 factories here.
Ashanti region. And then it's more factory back home now, so we may say,
Anya Biano.
Because at the end of the day, we will be 75%. And so about any time.
Yeah, open any panya day. President high schools and quality Bensia. Can almost see me. but me promise on
community day schools and now can once
we have even
Ovani, mama kasa so. Mama kasa so. Mama bejina ma otumfo so na project am be kikan. E central government yan kwa o. This assemblies yan ka ho. Go for the boss me dey mechanic na bom. Ya 4,000 projects no otumfo sa. Na 4,000 projects yan say check me hu dey o ka ho say. Mama ba born one by one. Ovani, and na Ghana for who say so many pan 400,000 votes pennies with me say there. Now come out be 1.7 million votes. That's all from serious. And I go for the go say me so from a trouble do pa jai.
Tell trouble na mama.
Yeah, then this year no the signs are clear. Because man for Juma papa mama ba be. Who dey come on here come on here. Dubai is when come on here for come on friend be New York market. Na come for share Central region mo nyam. Me bia mo ye bia nye papa.
Omo ye den.
Mo come on here phase 2 na come on friend New York market. And fan share
because first one I'm friend say Dubai. It is second one on car.
Nka munyi na mo so ho no mo jai. Hwese ye be drop anti. O mako tin nam gates mo ko fa excavator for na say mo twa gates mo. E na nam ba bia. O nim 4 years ago mo yes ade. O mo ma excavator for mo ko ha mo nyina be gu akwa so munyi gates mo nyese mo ye djuma no. E to ba ni ye na chinsam mo nyina dwane ye. Ebi na asa aba no. Ade na 8 years. Mo twen ye be to ba 2 months na mo so mo ye kwa. Ene traffic ye tingina ho na free o. Oni people for ni papa bia de ma Central region. Omo me hu say aba mo to mo nyina o mu mo. Sabe o mu mo. Nkanya sa nkana ponti me gya bantama say. O to ba man this ya mo nye development bia ma mo no obi bo ne nsem. When oni pass oboa na mo bo nsem. Na Ghana ha onim. Ghana ha onim. Say no.
Council bantama development back. Yo
bantama enya BP NDC na de ya kwa ho nyina igusu nyina titi na yi light na ade baba na ho manya nye. Enya ndis na yes ah. Right
me na say me crack.
Say no. Me wie kra no. Ade a ediga nya pa ne say. Eni pa say komudu stage bi a omutimi hwe ne pa ne ka kra che no omutimi nka. Sa. Gana ya bre nyina no. Nka nya sa de a ade tina se nka MPP kwa nya kudu so mba santu nya beye campaign wa. Me say e kwan yom faso to aba MPP no mo ayom sa no ho. Anka anya bi anka 20 factories de. Mo si na munye ya mama 1.7 million votes as against MDC 400,000 people. So no difference no.
Mo last say mo nya over 400,000.
No go be make some ya around
about 6 about 600,000.
MPP mama 1.7 million votes. And no dey win election. And so one factor mo ti bi amomo. Na almost about a campaign na mo sa tie o mana. Master mo system. And say party no ye party no ye na dia na yina ene atwam ene obi na dia ene petrol to aba ma wo he se free exercise na mo kan so mo ye ni ya se nkola 5 million na free mo ba na meboa ena teacher and nursing tell so mo twia so mo ye kokko be 500,000 na meboa opani se ni na no kura se na pukori na papa dia say people who here be 7 million votes to win why are they struggling we that question
o na say enye party
enya papa me sika so enya papa
enya party man kwan
make sure say
benefit from
Ghana for so enya papa no
your own crofo a wo mo ye napkoi at a point there were some NDC constituency branch executive also benefited from it. And cannot say 100,000 no the 100,000 should say
Ghana
papa they should all
so papa am to abama.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So to abama it's almost that teach sika na de e galamse ni sika mo wi na mo che mo nyini.
Right, mamema lawyer mamema doctor so nkabi na ewia
Dawda kasa.
500,000 speaker
dog ne krakra no mami ntio na fe
ewo
say obi a share but from your end do you think that because and obi a mention economy obi a way or the projects abeka ho there or defend why or these ever say Ashanti region to Abaman mention projects the also who say Ashanti region MPP disappointed Ashanti region and so mention also city wire over 1.7 million votes and also yɛkɔ so aka sɛ yɛnwie wei nti na bi a ama wei aka yɛnwie wei nti na ama wei aka yɛbɛyɛ wei yɛbɛwie mo nsa mma yɛntoa so na yɛnwie. I mean, justification at the ma why they should vote for the NDC, why they should vote for the NPP is here at this moment. Young two on economy, young two on projects, and at the end, who say this year's election, no, Ghana for based on Eddie Atuaba.
But that's it. This year elections alone, basis are yet two abano a business be we a localized vote. And now I'm fit them. Na fit any back or now or case.
No, so an analysis.
Oh, no, so an analysis. What one hour case swami interchange, no one to swami. Or sick quite be bridge be done. Na a fedo mu be juice on so more you saw onto. One, the basis are or the betwaba. Na papa bisu ono so no say ne ba echo St. Louis nte new admission si abai for BC for no mo ko you know SHS no na wantua hwe
ti ono so say
ono so nti me I was there na me hwe basis a bia obia epese ohun se wa benefit bibi enna anase bibi koso wo ne yewia na be ma na to aba o enti se wan ye careful a obedwen se economy ni ye yen na se bi ye wo krom no ana obi be based on that as economy because ye to bibia but obi wo ba bia and me call radio station bi me call to ma me bia na opesen kasa radio station penifo no boa no wo the banner admission awanya na ba bi o mo de ne to ye na ye fa enti no o person ko mo de ne ba baby a ote
senior high
na ma me say reason like who share the state of maame no who share the state of maame no ne nsema all kana ono be based on and faso a na say bibia asi wona brabo mu na obeto aba enti makase the economy ni de a general ayi but the economy is the individual economy ono ana obi wo me van say outskirt Kumasi ni basis a odebeto aba no will not be inflation ni hwan na yekeke kan that will not be the basis so enti no economy because say NCCA for your research o mo ka say free education na your priority na ba health na ba say economy kura na number 3
but Afrobarometer report almost survey omo here the buy no o share mo bisa questions about some of the policies are omo say here continuity and bibisa and
85 or so 85% say free SHS no
yes something that should continue and also a twaso no kwa say ye dey nsabe bo money ande nti these are things are ni nyina no
enti say John basis a obi a de beto aba na different different wo ya ho say inflation ya ho na inflation obi hia na obi hia say e bi adwo so bridge bi ebu no obetimi de ne ka afa so e krom ha kwada so area bi wo ho a is not about swami interchange na omo ye no o se ne ho no omo ekwan ne nya adwuma na drip no so ma fa ma ya
enra
omo fa ho
enra kwada so MP wono akwaji na ni so ba bi
I say ho na because me say information be kwada so go so see baby
baby I can na eno akwaji na ni so
eni so ko because my teacher say omo me yes akwan na mo biensi ho
wo gina ni so pa
ani when tie the constituency chairman no
no mo si sa
lawyer dem ento aso
ene when tie the constituency chairman because the constituency chairman say hono kwa won ko ho
so chairman kwaji na ni so ana minim dia see ya fi MP so
no when tie
but MP
na
say MP ma emha contractor no ze ko fijob ko fast jo ko fast ka kra na no so wa ma dia ne
obe ko ho
me de fam sa juma kra so ma me ti
it won't say the scenario make us say she say this time no wokeka nneɛma bebree bi te sɛ deɛ esi wɔ Accra deɛ esi wɔ Kumasi na no bi na obi di bɛto aba wɔ baabi a woyɛ a big mistake sɛ wokɔ outskirt Kumasi a wohwɛ nneɛma a ɛkɔ so a meka kyerɛ wo sɛ John saa free SHS no deɛ amanfo bɛ use papa because people have now benefited from it based on me observation a me hu bi a bɛɛ nipa bɛɛ 3 ɛno a fitam mu ne Friday Thursday baabi a mekɔɔ ya nkurɔfoɔ bi ɛka wei na then it shows say wei no bɛ use de ayɛ nti wo no bɛka sɛ Accra makoye wei it has to be a contextual message ne ɛyi a wo ba asko a ɛdeɛ na wo bɛka kyerɛ me no ato aba ma wo
right
so eti Sir John this year elections is based on what aban no aya amount na wo so wo ba no so no message also de be ma obia e wo sa area o yes sa there it will be serious matter
me that say thank you very much minia nana ajay kwabena o say court is a priority. The school buses were procured by Get Fund. Okay, all right. So also the no. But you bet me aba. Na ye di nkomo 0322498035 0243114497. Ntentiem we nkomo ntentiem pesa me fa calls bebre but oba
hello sir Don.
Yes.
Yes sir, good morning chief.
Good morning.
The pacho sa one man one figure be dey send or WhatsApp line. Na pacho ma come atem so no.
Boarding.
Oh, you wait and you feel press me ka say Nkwasa Bro East.
Mamintio.
Chief, me bisa sem bi me pese me pa no yi, na bia me bisa mo, Evans kwa me bisa no. Say, Fourth Republic no. NDC for so we say people e corrupt. We go ya na meska. NDC this we 16 years. NDC this we 16 years. President Kufuor time me kata tuti kata Victor Seloni one pepra Sefa Yankee Ibrahim Adam eno mo keka ho omo faga ni kama course je ni omo NDC be di sunfin wachi omo ti fa Kufuor appoint bia amfa corruption charge and charge no anko gina court aweda na Kufuor Dubai yo mama nko for ben wachi atedu ene ko abuka pele mu nyina egu nsewem ba ko de wajira court America enti de bia so mo to mo se bi fo na ya control ti se je we ya ko jira court ama ye dem ready so we ka ko dem me dia ye fa ko jina court one e ko
me that say hello good morning.
Morning sir.
Yes sir, I good day.
Na mi sure be ni mo ni abema. Ofan people ni no obema fa so na batima me wate. O the NDC ni na ko school popo. One interjection. NDC ni no. Yes so man people no time clan kasa. Ofa NDC for now so mo lose election no. Clearly so mo lose. Na me say elections we on the report or even worse than the movie 2016. And this name can be also Ghana for actually new mapa why near to Obama. And until you who say John Mahama, a mamma phone time to Babu in 2016. 18 years to about and only classmate or 1 president. And I can't attempt the year on a man, a stupid and a foolish no number would be at them. But this attempt would was that Democrat said John Mahama. Well, lose election, so why are frustrated? And me say the only attempted your mope. Still, John Dramani Mahama, what do you president of Ghana have you moved?
But I say, I good day, thank you. I'm for Friday and crack. Good morning.
Good morning, Sir John.
Yeah, Pacho, we didn't be a casa free.
A jalbert because it's low for Lukum.
A jamamintiwa.
You, say, Mark Consent, the dear Supreme Court and some AC and that. Now, maybe CJ, no one year, people. Our more voter in the for more than 4 years, only MP. Now, after 2 months, Yako to Abano, now was say, for a year, Musuma, near deny or a right, MP's right. That is only MP. Now, 4 years now, only MP. Then, okay, farm. I see a bad Piggy and someone. Piggy can I catch it? It took Baby Lawrence. No be a pavement war. And Sana Mahama so be so into a build development war. Asante region and people be as zero. And wait me that.
May that say thank you very much. Hello, good morning.
Sir, go.
Yes, sir.
Because you see Yako, because of the place.
Kajo, now here.
Nakukwadu say.
Oh, Eboko. Ekwano say me my cause binti. We are very fine.
Yeah, that's you.
Let's me check you fucking. Cause you
I'm fact I guess I'm directed to Muku. But you talk at the place so Galaji show. Say, you can't control. And this is for me, I am married. Say, Ghana for me now. Say, Adada and Adolfo. They say, you are John Domain Mama. No, it's a tip too much. The next one will be our wife. They will need to say, the so we say, I think it's such a I think you know. Often it's a moon like a trauma mood, Domia. The digital man. You hear a bit of a Ghana. They say, I think the love doors on the Paraxo. Yes, Reno. What did you tell me? Serena and Laku Fadukan. Say, the class 1. We need only classmate.
Only classmate, but that's say my info. Hello, good morning. Solo. Solo, me check your pie and queen. Pass Solo, my queen.
Another play and check it and come out on the demo. Come in, all the other one of the how much more of the demo. I have to be born in God. I don't know. No, I wish I were maybe the treatment. No, nobody have more opposite press. I'm a negative in the harbor. Then I'm just sitting in one for the press over to be cut out. Someone put it before something to take up in Yano. Over you, Yama, overcome was him. So I'm over to the Yama, don't do my identity. I don't do my putting my dog to press. I'm over to the Yama, I'm going to go back with you. Yes, sir. Over the case of follow. One to a dinner. Now this is one you talk so. So my when you yes, I don't say my mama said, let me go. Kill the baby boy. No, you know what, man, you're about to send me. What you about to tell me how I let together because I've never said that.
May that say. Good morning. Wow. Over to my friend. 0322498035 0243114497. Good morning.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello,
Juma Das. Hamza, uncle. Hamza. Sorry. Safri Biona or line drop it. Hello, good morning. Yami Adam. Tobo Parliament.
In fact, when you're about Sinaderi and the Seattle for Cancer or Barna, or no one of incoming into Asuka, and Mishomo. Said, no, what I'm trying to say, MPP for, in fact, say, or woman, no, only say, you were about me, our privilege, Ghana Mampini. In because only Ghana for money, or never for the song video, my issue. 8 years. In the sense, I didn't buy no demon another thing, and another offer here to my own community. I didn't buy with the man myself with another 4 years. You're gonna put it, and I 1 year, and until mine agree with the agree. On community, and then you might know the vice president, economic management team chairman, when I was done is Kasamso. And then Kasamina, what Philip Otto, what Daniel for you, and the other walk of butter, Dicata. On
that say, young for front. Good morning.
Good morning. Many
Nana Bedi de.
Fantastic one.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
I'm telling you, Unia Ivan. Any Abigail Foot. Now that you are Dr. Benasante, Ghana Gas, it will be a moment Senepa. On a Dr. Richard Wodu, as you of that fan on the Flamin Senepa. At the comment can say, at the door, MPP, it will be can, it will be clear. Dr. Mamadou Baumia. Ni sẹ́mu ọ̀dí Ghana fọ́ no ẹ̀yà adé ẹ̀ka sùn kẹ́ni o wọ́n sì ṣe Ghana fọ́ tó àbámọ́ no a wọ́n mú Ghana mẹ́bùrú sika in digital skills 1 million in digital jobs in digital skills a.
Mẹ́ta se maa yẹn fọ wei ntwa tó bàtà wei firi wi a ẹni òkè kásẹ̀ yẹn fọ kọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ bi o bàtà maame nkọ yes good morning bàtà wẹ́ni.
Captain Legon kí ni a ti sábà.
Captain maame ntí o.
I said that they can say, then come and quit. Also watching dollars. I guess so good to come and see where I don't know when I remember that. But we kind of
thank you very much. Yankwai na yemfa yenye we na ewia na yeja ho kwan kama birthday ba ko bi ho e wo se yi free ho na fe ye kona obibini ay ready e wo se ya charge no penya semetoa Evelyn Ajekum ene your birthday happy birthday to you Evelyn Ajekum we free ura na ukunu Frank do have friend Kim Frankies or we show happy birthday Evelyn ukunu so do pa nyankopon hiraw na onyo kese na fe hira no so ene di na wiase nyina enhu yes o so wo nwamase ebe antoa good nti Evelyn Ajekum happy birthday to you Lawyer William Kusi lawyer mama 30 seconds na dear oketwa to na fi
atie for madam yes Remo Ghana has come so far now here free 92 basis amre ya yakoya ni mu pa na se yakoya ni ma na yakofo ene president Nana Dankwa ana magana yehu di yehu yes Remo muntu abadoma na Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia ameto so na ene sister Kidi Glamour the new arrivals aba
Mate
oko Atinga Junction new branch
efizem
ahensan opposite China Mall
you better come meet
exactly
opposite China Mall na
you better come meet you better come meet
Papa yes any man in kula die nyina
lawyer Safuduku
no
yes there are some be fie nkwana doctor some lawyer Safuduku yankwa
no if you never go on yakopa biato na sisi ai de kan say Dr. Bawumia baba ina ya na kufu ado ne gang no achi mafia fo ne ba
gang
achi mafia fo no so to mama Bawumia ne kufu ado no mkofo gabi no mu ana sa be control no enu tina ala no nyina mema kuku da ba ina kan Japan no ko Japan no de ni monum mo de se o mu yi o mu nyina si nchen e di sika twetwe gu mu left and right ti Bawumia no ka so be fufu bi obo
right
ni ma nko nyina o ka hu bi
mate
it is a more anya ya yentimi mo akonta papa bia nse Ghana fo ni ma akoso no dozen mfie nwotwe isi mo mo ani ya hye ni ma na Ghana bia no checks and balances no na ya djuma
me da say lawyer Safuduku thank you very much Dr. Samuel Free
is a job mechanic speaker
nene so ko yi
uze me ka o yi top ngwan ma san me ko fa
na minti we na we to speaker
I'm speaker the service to Ghana for being an MP and a speaker more than 30 years. I think that he has to end well. More or end well. No see yes the profession. Next time the anka say yeah ma omon fani dimbe target the 8th parliament in a certain way be on corner edwuma.
Matime da se we for ya di si ha na nyame admo chena o chance me de beko Dr. Samuel Free beko ahenkro unimo ahenkro offense kwanso aha e kwakọ gala intercommunity games our moye we for ahead of the elections aha na mini abako Dani na organize a friend of Bossu Gala 2024 where the 12th edition so wayachu ahead of a peaceful election 2020 some political parties in Bebobiu enti yakupon ya do mo kira ebeba so kama ho me so meba anopa no wotwe nyina yesi ho na say ye de ataso Philadelphia Bibia Nico Star Popo FC
Medina City in the twice in the
Medina City na we family tini nyina nyame adom a ni nyina be koso wo chena e wa ahenkro ti ahenkro fo mo nsu anim me ni obibi ni beba team ni nyinaa yɛbɛba ne aba bɛ support kama abusua on that note no pɛ me na wase obibini akɔhene ɛna ɛba nyankopɔn yɛ adom adwo da no pa wobɛte yɛ nka sɛm asi ɛbɛtena ase na yɛdi ho nkɔmmɔ na nyame nka ho kɔpem sɛ yɛbɛhyia nyame adom a adwo da megya wo de wama obibini akɔhene abibi nsoroma ɔyɛ charge anɔpa yi